You are now listening to Mr. ZBlackneffect.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? My apologies for the lateness. Y'all already know it's not a reckless stream, but Mr. Z tried to start it on time, and life was just lifing in the background, y'all. Life was just lifing, and let's get underway. Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. So we're gonna be talking about, kind of a Dark Valentines Day. No, I did not check out Jason Black's stream yet. From last night, I think it was, and so I will be checking that out after the stream. But as usual, per usual, he streams on Valentine's Day and tell y'all it's not gonna be that great. And I think he's done that over the bullet past. At least I've checked it out around Valentine's Day, the day before, the day of, or the day after, for the past 2, maybe 3 Valentine's Days. So we'll get underway on that one. We'll get underway. Um, so why this background? Because of the supporting videos. So this is a bit of a part 2 to the brother Nick Young. A bit of this is a part 2 to that, not all the way. I'm gonna do a proper part 2. Mr. Z was super. I could have did a better job, to be honest with y'all. And shout out to the brother. He was in the comments and he said I had him laughing and stuff, and I could have did a better job. And I'm going to do that. So we're gonna, give it a day or two, and we're gonna come back with a part 2 to that. But this is maybe okay. So I guess this will be a part like 1.5 response, right? I know. So in that case, let's do this. We're gonna play a series of videos, some of which we've played. Jesus, that wasn't even a whole 3 minutes. We didn't even get 3 minutes into the stream before I got cut off. Of course, because that's how life works. Continuing. So we'll get to this. I guess this is a 1.5 response, not a part 2 response. Yeah. Okay. So let's do that. Like I was saying earlier, some of these videos we've seen before, some of these we haven't seen before, right? So we'll just play these kind of in order, right? And let's get underway. And let's do the fair use again. Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in.
Going to Morehouse College taught me how much classism is keeping a lot of black adults single. And it is. Classism is keeping a lot of us single. And I don't hear us talk about that enough as we're having these conversations on these apps about the high rates of singleness amongst us super educated and us super successful black adults. We need to introduce into the conversation the role that classism plays in keeping us single. Because the truth is, a lot of these super educated, super successful black adults are single not because they've never met someone who makes them feel safe. They're single not because they've never met someone they find to be substantive. They're single not because they haven't met someone that makes them feel special. A lot of these super educated, super successful black adults are single because they haven't met someone who meets their family's ideals of suitable. And that's something we need to talk about when we're having these think pieces about the high rates of singleness amongst super educated, super successful black adults. It's that it's not that they haven't met someone that makes them feel safe. It's not that they haven't met someone that makes them feel special. They haven't met someone who matches their family's ideals of suitable. And this post is not an attack on standards. Have your standards. I have my standards. But when we're having conversations about singleness, let's be honest about how our standards are keeping us single. Like, the truth is, classism is keeping a lot of us cold at night, and classism is keeping a lot of us from considering people we actually might be compatible with. The black people defending classism over the last couple of days sound a lot like Trump voters. First of all, Y'all are riding so hard for a class you're not even a part of. You know who else does that? Trump voters. Y'all sound a lot like those Trump voters who just love to live for and defend the rights of that far-off white millionaire, white wealthy person, white billionaire they have nothing in common with. But because of the isms they are dealing with, they identify more with that far-off white millionaire or billionaire than they do the black or brown people that live in their zip code. A lot of y'all commenting and making 6 videos aren't even a part of the class of people I started this conversation for. And as one creator put it, you're punching down on people that are actually in the class that you're in. And then when I was talking to the people who are in the class I was talking to, I said, hey, classism could be preventing you from considering somebody you're compatible with. And you all heard me say, I didn't say, but you all heard me say, you should date broke people. I never said that. And the impulse to jump to an extreme and an exaggerated narrative when an ism is addressed is the same thing Trump voters do. Look at how they respond when you call them out on immigration, you call them out on the way they treat queer people, you call them out on the way they talk about women, when in the way, in anything. When you address their isms, they will resort to an extreme and exaggerated narratives to justify keeping their isms and their refusal to grant equity to whatever population you're advocating for. It's the same thing Trump voters do. And then you all brought up this uncontextual research that says that like you know, how classless and the lack of work ethic in impoverished communities and how violent people who are caught up in the nexus of poverty are. First of all, the research y'all put in there, kind of, most of it doesn't really justify your claims, but we'll give, all right, cool, whatever. You know who else does that? When you're addressing their isms, they want to go to some half-baked research. They want to go to some uncontextual research. Trump voters. If you are a black and brown person watching this video, I want you to understand something. There is research that says that we have lower IQs. There's research that says our neighborhoods have a higher propensity for criminal activity. There's research that says that our children get disciplined more. There's research that says all of that. And I want you to understand that half-baked uncontextual research is a part of the foundation of MAGA, and which is why somebody is in the White House right now. So when you put half-baked research that villainizes people caught up in the networks of poverty, please understand, I'm going to have a problem with it and I'm not going to let it slide. Then there were some people who were like, oh, you know, white women never are told to date down. You don't know white people and you don't know history. George Washington, the first president of these national United States, married up. John F. Kennedy, married up. Theodore Roosevelt, married up. Abraham Lincoln, married up. Like white men marry up all the time. It is your rosy white glasses that makes you think that white people aren't doing this and harm doesn't happen with rich communities. All of that stuff is a myth. It's a myth. It's a myth. It's a myth. White people know something, which is kind of what I was getting at in my first video. If you value creating wealth from your bloodline, you will generate wealth. This is what white people know. So y'all want to bring up what white people are doing. You will generate wealth quicker with someone who has less, not someone who's poor or going to bash your head in, with someone who has less, quicker than you will by yourself. You will not generate wealth at the same rates as you will with somebody who has as much as you or somebody who has more, but you will have more than you would by yourself, which is what I brought up in my first video. Then y'all keep wanting to bring up Asian communities, white communities, Indian communities. None of those people none of those people and their ancestors spent 400 years of slavery, dealt with Jim Crow, and feel like they could be Sonia Massey every day they wake up. So it's apples and literally oranges. I would even say it's fruits and vegetables. We're totally different. Classism does not work for the black community.
Let's deal with this moving goalpost narrative head on. First, the old story was black women out-earn black men. That lie was pushed for years until the numbers shut it down. In 2024, the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that black men earned $1,002 per week, $52,104 annually, and black women earned $922 per week and $47,944 annually. That's an $80 weekly gap in favor of black men, and over a $4,000 gap annually. So let's go ahead and put it to rest. Black women do not out-earn black men. That narrative is finished. So what is the new narrative? Black men don't earn enough money to be considered head of the household.
And they also can't compete in their households because even though currently they are making more than black women, not enough to be considered, the gap in income between a black woman and a black man isn't enough for him to get the label of primary breadwinner. And he also feels like he can't sustain his household because even though he might be making more than his wife, the gap isn't big enough for him to say, I am the primary breadwinner for my family.
But let me ask you, what is considered enough? Enough compared to who? Nobody ever defines that. Black men earn more than Hispanic men, yet Hispanic men marry at higher rates. If income was a deciding factor, Hispanic men would be the least married, but they're not. Census data shows that black men outperform black women in 9 of the 12 categories tied to marriage readiness. Less student loan debt, fewer single parents, higher median earnings, more 100K earners, lower obesity rates, more business ownership, and higher marriage rates. That's not enough. That's stronger positioning.
Argument. There are almost 2 million more black women than black men, so of course black men will be married at a higher rate. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, there are about 2 million more black women than black men. However, this argument oversimplifies the marriage gap. In marriage, lifestyle choices and relationship history matter. Some women simply do not want marriage, while others disqualify themselves from the marriage market through their behavior, outlook, or unrealistic standards. Some black women also prefer non-black partners. A significant number are interested in marrying outside their race. For these women, their primary goal is not necessarily to marry a black man. Not every woman is seeking marriage at all. Pew Research has shown that black men express a stronger desire for marriage than black women, especially as they age. This means the marriage gap is not just about numbers, it's about demand, expectations, and compatibility.
But let's talk marriage facts. In 2023, Pew Research found that 36% of black men were married, 29% of black women were married. That's a 7-point gap, the largest between men and women of any racial group. In divorce, 25% of black women were divorced, separated, or widowed, as opposed to black men's 15%. So to put it in simple raw terms, there are over 610,000 more married black men than black women in the US. There are over 500,000 more never married black women than black men. So who really isn't marrying who? The numbers say black men are marrying more than black women. We're not gonna stop there. Let's dig a little deeper. Pause. Black women file for divorce at the highest rate in America. That's why black women hold the highest divorce rate among all gender groups, and black men hold the highest divorce rate among men. But let's be clear, black men's high divorce rate isn't because they're unfit partners, it's because they overwhelmingly marry black women, who initiate divorce more than any other group. Despite this, 79% of black men still marry black women. That's loyalty. Even if you call it an ignorance of loyalty, black men commit to their women even knowing the risk. The data proves it. And before we move forward, let's revisit the head of household idea. Let's update it. Pew Research reports that in 74% of marriages, the wife works full-time or part-time. Almost 1 in 5 stay-at-home parents are now fathers. The modern marriage is built on cooperation, not on one partner carrying the entire financial load. And those numbers are for all races, to include white men and women. Successful marriages in 2025 often look egalitarian, with husbands and wives both contributing around $60,000 each. However, the man tends to make $2,000 more. The old sole provider model is no longer the dominant reality, especially in today's economy. So in conclusion, black men are not financially failing. They out-earn black women on average, produce more six-figure earners, and lead in key stability metrics. Black men are not avoiding marriage. They marry at higher rates than black women, and overwhelmingly choose black women even with higher divorce risk. The problem is not that black men don't earn enough. The problem is that black women have the lowest marriage rates, the highest divorce rates, and file for divorce the most. The excuses are over. Not incarceration, not education, not population imbalance, not income. The numbers prove the truth. Black men are loyal, marriage-minded, and marriage-ready. The question is whether black women will step up, address marriageability, and meet that loyalty with stability. Because the men, your black men, are already showing up. Peace.
Why aren't people getting married? Is marriage simply for those who are privileged? That was the question in regard to a survey done by the American Enterprise Institute and Opportunity America. As we know, the percentage of people getting married has decreased over recent years. And so what are the reasons behind it? Now, marriage has sharply declined among people without college degrees, while staying steady among college graduates with higher incomes. So just to give you the specific numbers, 26% of poor adults, 39% of working class adults, and 56% of middle and upper class adults ages 18 to 55 are married. So the number, or the percentage, is much lower for those who are living in poverty or struggling economically. Now, to compare, back in 1990, the numbers were very different. So in 1990, 51% of poor adults, 57% of working class adults, and 65% of middle and upper class adults were married. One of the main reasons that respondents mentioned was that, yeah, you know, when it comes to men who are struggling with their finances, who might not have good jobs, women are less likely to be interested in marrying them, and so that could be part of the reason. Also, just over half of adolescents in poor and working class homes live with both of their biological parents, compared with 77% in middle and upper class homes. So even though less people are getting married when it comes to a certain socioeconomic status, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're having less kids. Now, the overall birth rate in America has decreased slightly, but for the most part, birth rates have been steady.
Yeah. So that's a big number, a big difference. 51% in 1990 of poor adults, which is the lowest 20th percentile in income, now only 26%, so cut in half basically. And look, there's a couple of different factors, and it is interesting. One of the most interesting parts is that, so the poor economy can lead to a vicious cycle, which creates this. But once it sets into the culture, it then becomes really hard to reverse.
The wealthy will not marry you, and here's why. There's a term for this in economics, and it's called assortative mating. It's a tendency for people to marry others like themselves, high earners with high earners, college grads with college grads, and over the last few decades, the pattern has intensified. People don't choose partners from the entire population, they choose from people they actually meet. People from the same schools, same jobs, same cities. So marriage stops being random and becomes a lot more predictable. And this has consequences. Wealth doesn't come from income alone, it comes from stability, from true salaries instead of one, from shared risk, from access to better neighborhoods, neighborhoods, better schools, and better networks. That's how advantage compounds. This is why today, who you marry matters almost as much as what you do, why upward mobility feels harder, and why effort alone is not enough to close the gap. Once assortative mating sets in, it reinforces itself. Children grow up in healthier homes, they get better education, they move to the same expensive cities, they meet people just like them, and they marry each other. So when people say anyone can make it, they're ignoring a part of the system that matters deeply. So if you feel like this economy isn't built for you, it's because in some ways it isn't. And it's not because we're failing as individuals, it's because wealth is concentrating 2 people at a time.
Rom-coms used to tell men you're lovable as you are. Now they tell everyone if you're not elite, don't bother. You see, we didn't just change casting, we rewired expectations. Adam Sandler, Tom Cruise, Bruce Willis, Mike Myers, Jack Black, Michael J. Fox, Steve Carell, John Cusack, Ben Stiller, Seth Rogen, Billy Crystal, LL Cool J, Kevin Hart, Nicolas Cage, even the guys on Friends. Short guys, dad bods, balding guys, awkward guys, funny guys, men with blue-collar jobs, men you could actually imagine knowing. Rom-coms used to sell something radical. You don't have to be perfect to be lovable. Compare that to today. I'm fine with Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell falling in love. But when every romantic lead looks like a Marvel casting call, something breaks. Hallmark hunks, Netflix hunks, Instagram filter hunks. Take Emily in Paris. The young women are smart and attractive, but struggling to make a name for themselves and pay rent. And yet somehow they can't seem to settle down with supermodel men who are well-dressed and accomplished Michelin-star chefs and multi-millionaire heirs to their parents' fashion empires. One of the central characters, Sylvie, is a 62-year-old woman married to a handsome man who is 8 years younger than her, which is fine. But she also keeps hooking up with a 6'3" male model half her age. This is also the plot of every romance novel. A simple, average girl somehow catches the attention of a handsome prince. I get it. It's female fantasy, but it's also aspirational in all the wrong kind of ways. And we're seeing the effects in real life. Dating app data consistently shows that women overwhelmingly swipe on a small fraction of men. Tall, high income, conventionally handsome men. A single guy who's over 6 feet and makes over $100,000 is a statistical anomaly, yet that's become the baseline expectation. So what happens when women who are 7s and 8s hold out for 9s and 10s? Men who are 6s and 7s opt out entirely, and everyone feels like something is wrong. Our brains are prediction machines. The media we consume trains what we expect and what we think we deserve. For the first time in modern history, fewer women say they want to get married than men. More people are living alone. Loneliness rates are exploding. This isn't about blaming women, and it's not about shaming men. It's about culture that stopped celebrating character and started selling unattainable ideals. We don't just need fewer attractive people on screen. We need equal pairings that feel realistic. Give us short kings. Give us plumbers, teachers, and social workers, not heirs to European wine empires. Give us men without six-packs and women without filters. Because when media teaches people that love only happens at the top 1%, everyone else gives up. And that's not romance. That's a recipe for cynicism and loneliness.
Dating apps made women much pickier, but men way less picky. And here's why. Before apps, guys had to approach women in person. That took guts and risk of rejection. So men were careful. They went for women they thought they had a chance with. For women, they've always ranked men and aimed for the best they could get. But options were limited. Just people from school, work, or friends. And a guy who's not in the top could still win her over with his confidence. Then dating apps happened. For guys, swiping right costs nothing. No effort, no risk. So men started swiping on more. Women rank guys the same way, but they are picking from thousands of profiles. And everyone's ranking the same way, so more women end up chasing the same guys. Regular guys get swiped left before they even have a chance to show who they are. Same instincts, different game. Results? Messed up dating scene. Does this sound right to you? Leave a comment.
Also, way more women on Earth than there are men. So some of us gonna have to choose to not have one. There's like 3 women to each man. So that's why it's very hard for a man to be faithful. That's why usually when you meet a man, he's either fresh out of a relationship. Like, men are never really fully single. Like, and then a lot of us don't want a lot of them too, so that's even less men. Now we're choosing from the ones that are attractive, or they got a good job, or you're gonna have to choose somebody you don't really like, so that leaves even less men. So now women are competing for like these select few men, and that's why a lot of men cheat. It's so many to choose from. You always hear that like men don't have options, but at the same time I'm always hearing like the ugliest dude ever, like, oh, he cheated on me with like, and it's like 2 girls that are so beautiful, and it's like, how is this happening? It's happening every day, because female desperation is a thing too. Like, when you've been alone for a long time and like you haven't learned how to love on yourself as a woman, sometimes you just start to accept a lot less, like just for love. That's why you gotta, when you're alone, you have to be cultivating yourself, or you're gonna go for like whatever.
A quick PSA since Valentine's Day is coming up, but I just want to say I feel like there are a lot of people, both online and in real life, who call themselves feminists, but still very much uphold the patriarchy and gender norms when it comes to their personal relationship. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like some of y'all aren't ready for this conversation. Because when I hear people talking about how they want like princess treatment and they don't like going 50-50 with their boyfriends and how they just like being able to turn their brain off when they're with their boyfriend and la da 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 da, what I'm hearing is that you don't want an equal partner and you don't want to be treated like an equal partner. You want a caregiver and you want to be infantilized. But mind you, infantilization and paternalism is still a form of oppression. It's just marketed better. And I know people say stuff like, oh, it's not what you can do for the patriarchy, but what the patriarchy can do for you. But like, girl, everything the patriarchy does for you has strings attached. When people talk like this, they're referring to something called benevolent sexism. And while I understand the sentiment entirely, it's like, girl, if you date someone who is benevolently sexist, chances are they're also non-benevolently sexist too. Now I know this is an extreme example, but this kind of paternalism is the same logic that they use to justify slavery. Like anti-abolitionist slaveholders would be like, oh, but like I treat my slaves so well, so what's the problem? Do you see what I'm getting at? When you infantilize yourself, you're essentially celebrating a lack of agency. Because the same people who will treat you paternalistically are the same people who will not treat you as an equal. If you want to be treated with respect and as a whole human being and not just as someone to fill the role of capital G girlfriend, then you can't be acting like this. Because if you say shit like, oh, I want to be treated like a trophy, I want to be treated like a prize, girl, you're still saying you want to be treated like an object. Also, another thing on the going 50-50 stuff, because I see a lot of y'all complaining about that, but if you're demanding that your man pays for everything for you, you're essentially commodifying yourself. You're saying that in exchange for access to my companionship, to my emotional and sexual labor, to my beauty, then you must provide me material security. So you're basically negotiating yourself as a commodity in a capitalist transaction. Same thing goes for people who are like, oh, I come at a high price. Girl, a high price is still a price. This is what the Marxist feminists call false consciousness. You believe you're winning because you get material perks, but in reality, you're just reinforcing the very same systems that keep you oppressed. If you're trying to reinforce gender dynamics onto your partner, then you gotta know that it's not gonna be one-sided. If you want big, tall boyfriend, guess what? Big, tall boyfriend wants small, skinny girlfriend. If you're chasing after this gendered notion of masculine success, then just know that chances are they're also looking for a woman to fill their role of feminine success, which is submissive, small, weak. I don't know, I just feel like I hear so many people talking about relationships and their partner, less as an actual person that they want to be with and more as a role that they want filled. Unfortunately, Bo Burnham was spitting when he said that you want a guy that's sweet, a guy that's tough, a feminist that likes to pay for stuff.
The reason 50-50 be eating y'all up so bad is because a lot of y'all want patriarchy and not partnerships. And that's people who love it and people who hate it. Because the men who are so adamant to do 50-50, you still want the benefits of traditional patriarchy, like to be seen as a leader, to be revered and respected. My nigga, why would she submit to you and y'all just paid the exact same price? Answer quickly. Right? And to the women that absolutely hate 50-50, you can't convince me that you love who you're with. Y'all are more concerned with assigning gender roles to these men and what the man's supposed to do. The man should do this, the man should do that. I don't think y'all love these men because love speaks more than what you can provide to someone. That's what I'm saying. I don't think y'all love these men, or at least unconditionally. Because for y'all to hate 50-50, the concept of it this much, y'all don't love these people. Y'all don't love these men, bro. It is what it is. But a nigga like me, I do 50-50 because I truly see women as my equals. I was raised by women. I respect women, right? So I believe that she's as capable of bringing something to the relationship as me. So, but I'm not doing it to be seen as a leader. I don't subscribe to that patriarchal mindset, right? I'm loving her because of who she is. She needs to love me for who I am, not based on how much I can perform. And I feel like the black community has these conversations so much is because we're still stuck at that like first tier of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like niggas trying to have their needs met. That's why they're worried about provision so much. No, I'm actually self-actualization. Are we a good match for each other? Do we actually love each other? That's why it be eating you up so bad, because you can't let go of these gender role assigned constructs in love. No, I'm sorry. Y'all got that shit.
Is a man who is willing to take care of you, the kids, and the household, but has no ambition worth staying with.
When you say take care of, what do you mean?
He pays all the bills. He take care of the kids. He step in.
How do you do that with no ambition?
No, he got money. I want more.
You know what?
And he's complacent.
Okay.
Yeah.
In a year, when the job market is cooked, when the housing market is cooked, when people are walking away from their children, you got somebody at home that is paying your bills. He is taking care of you, and he is taking care of your kids, and you are figuring out, should I leave him? Are you cool?
Unfortunately, for a lot of men, there are so many women telling them you have to be more ambitious. And it's because they want the ambition to look like what they want it to look like. But his ambition is waking up every day and going to work. Waking up every day and showing up for my children. Showing up for my home, like that's just as ambitious. You know how ambitious you have to be when you are going through depression? Your girl is telling you you need to do more, and then you don't feel like you're good enough, but she don't know the mental and emotional and spiritual battles that you have and how you still trying to show up for your home. That's ambition, baby. Take a moment. Read, I think it's 1 Timothy 5:8. Because what it talks about is a man who neglects his home is the same as a man who denies his faith. This man is taking care of his home. There is faith and grace in that. He is being provisional. He's still leading. So we have to acknowledge that, because if not, you're going to lose that. Like that's a gem, baby.
I make my own money. I make more than him.
Ooh.
Right?
And you said he pays all the bills?
Yeah.
And you make more money?
Yeah.
You mentioned that you make more money than him, and I want you to know that was not done by mistake. That was a systemic thing that was put into place so that the black woman can be elevated to start looking at their men like they're not doing enough.
No.
It is very intentional, the fact that you make more money, and even though your man is showing up for you, you start looking at him for like, why can't you do more?
The fact that this man is covering the bills, even though he knows you make more, let me tell you what he's doing. This man is willing to maybe put things on pause so that you can elevate. Think about it. What you make becomes almost just yours. what you choose to do, you have the freedom to pivot and pivot and pivot. Try this, go to school, because this man is saying, I'm going to sacrifice and take care of the foundational things so that you can have a choice whether or not you want to work or not. And so when you say that man lacked ambition, I just think it's ambition in a direction you can't recognize.
Why is it that we can build up a man, stick with that nigga when he ain't got, or we deal with his emotionally unavailable, and then when you finally get it together, y'all go to the next woman. We build y'all up for the next woman.
First of all, Trio, do you think it's valid or what?
Yes, but I also think that some women are the stepping stool for us to get to a better woman. I do. I think. She asked. You said I had him when he was broke down and he was emotionally unavailable and he was a terrible person and he wasn't open to da-da-da-da. You got to ask yourself, why was that type of man having access to you to begin with? You're not as healed as you think you are. Y'all are actually equal. And then he learned what he needed to learn from you and moved on to a woman that actually deserved that healed version of him.
But a lot of times what happens is when a man has you go through those trials with him, all of that pain and anguish with him, when he grows into become a better person, you constantly remind him of who he used to be. And he's not going to know how to come back and love you correctly because he has to face himself through the wounds he left you with. I have a poem where I say, women shouldn't have to be casualties to the growth of men because after all them years getting used, y'all look for love and comfort in the same arms that you left beaten down and emotionally bruised. Y'all change us so much. That's the response. That by the time that we have changed into this woman who now has trust issues, this woman now has insecurities, this woman now has bitterness, we are left with all these bruises and all of this baggage that we have transformed into through years of going through that with you. You can't even look at us no more. So it's like I've changed and I'm sorry for what I did, but you remind me of that season of my life and I am done here. So instead of being responsible for going through this healing journey with you for what I put you through, I'm gonna move on to this woman that doesn't have to heal from me because she ain't have to experience that version of me.
Okay, one more thing. Or sometimes
here he go.
The reason I was able to grow after you is because I couldn't grow with you. And sometimes some women refuse to believe that you were the cause of my stunted growth. We always assume that this woman was supportive, kind, believed in you, was a healing, was a teaching, and all these different things. But sometimes that's not what was happening in these relationships.
The conversations that we have, and women are literally saying, I make $300,000 a year. If he makes $100K, he's not valuable.
But wait, Doc, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying it's about leadership. It's about leadership. So for me,
but money doesn't equate to leadership at all.
This is what I'm saying. I'm saying if you are going to lead me in the ways, that means you need to have the mindset. That means you need to have the mentality, the emotions, the spirit, the energy. If you're going to lead this household, I don't want to have to slow down to let you pass me up.
The average woman doesn't make that much money.
That's true.
Right? The actual listener is making 50, 70, maybe 80. Right. So what happens to the man that only makes 50, 70, 80? Is he now completely disqualified? Because we've completely changed the conversation. We said average. Now we're talking about men that make $300,000 a year. We can't even keep the conversation to the same topic of the average man. He's still being bypassed in the conversation. Yeah. So if he's being bypassed in the conversation where we can't even stay on topic and talk about the man, imagine the women that's listening to the conversation, their mind is still going to the $300,000 man.
Can I just say one more thing? Even if you are that 50, 60, 70,000 earning man, there is still a desire for you at some point to make enough to where your wife doesn't have to work.
Yes. Are people not able to make a living and provide a beautiful life with $50,000? That's crazy. That is exactly what he said. That's what he said. That's exactly what he said. And to allude to a person, if a person makes under a certain amount of money, to say that they don't have the ability to lead, provide, and have all of these things, that's exactly what y'all are saying. Y'all are going a roundabout way to say it, but that's how people are perceiving the things that y'all say.
There's a component of this that we are missing, and that is that men that are not happy with where they are financially are mean. They treat you terribly, okay? If you meet somebody and they're a 300K woman, that may not be quite the lane for you. It doesn't mean that I value you less. It doesn't mean, but you're going to perform better. You're going to be a better person. You're going to have a better mindset. You're going to be in a clearer space when you feel valued, safe, at peace with where you are. And it's no harm, no foul in that. Stay there in that lane with the women that are in alignment with you. And don't be mad at us calling us broke, gold diggers, dirty bald head scallywags on the internet because we are in this lane. It would be wonderful to meet a man and he's like, babe, let's do this together. Let's build. I got this, you got that. You got my back, I got your back. But the reality of it is because I went to school, I was valedictorian, I graduated, I got a master's degree, I did all this. Now you mad at me because you're not in my lane. Get in your lane, make some more money, and then come over here. Now we all good. It's simple.
Let me tell you, when people say, why you don't go on coffee dates, why you don't date broke men, why you don't, because I paid the fucking lady and I did too much work. Imagine working on yourself and running back to the same crazy nigga. Like, that's just crazy. When you make those type of investments, there are men that don't have access to you. And this is why a man who hasn't met his social standard of at least making a living for himself, or a man who cannot plan a date, will not have access to me, because black women are are out here getting degrees, as we talked about. We out here growing our edges back. We out here investing in Korean skincare. We out here becoming Pilates princesses, okay? Traveling the world, being nomads, all of these kind of things. And it's like, no, we've made so much investment in ourselves, and there has to be a limit as to who has access to you. So imagine doing all this self-work and you let a rusty, dusty, crusty with a crazy baby mama that, or a crazy ex-girlfriend that's still crazy, have access to you again.
Read the caption on the screen, everyone. Alrighty, and we're back. Okay, so Dark Valentines Day. So we know, we've heard like sales around Valentine's Day aren't that high, and less people are coupling up. We already know the lowering birth rate, lowering marriage rate, etc., etc. Right? Everyone is aware of this. Many of the clips I played speak to why. What informs the young men? If y'all check the thumbnail, it says a lot. What informs men, including young men, not pursuing women for Valentine's Day, not asking for a woman to be their Valentine's? What's informing that? And I want to play something that kind of speaks to that. Let's play this again.
Is a man who is willing to take care.
Actually, that's not the one. This is the one right here.
Why is it that we can build up a man, stick with that nigga when he ain't got, or we deal with his emotionally unavailable, and then when you finally get it together, y'all go to the next woman. We build y'all up for the next woman.
First of all, Trio, do you think it's valid or what?
Yes, but I also think that some women are the stepping stool for us to get to a better woman. I do.
Some women are stepping stones, Stacy. Huh? We have, if we can already tell from how this lady's demeanor is from this very short video. We don't know this lady from a can of paint. But you trying to tell me how many of y'all could deal with the little bit of attitude you saw from her? That sass. How many of you want to deal with it? Mr. Z often says, ladies, you don't owe us anything. You don't owe us being kind. You don't owe us anything. A smile. You don't owe us consideration. You don't owe us anything. Going off of what this lady is saying, apparently she was with a man through his quote-unquote healing journey and his quote-unquote building phase. And apparently, as he did better in life, he left her or they didn't work out. Madam, just like women don't owe men, you hear more and more women saying, even when they're dating a man, even when they're girlfriend, boyfriend, they're not going to do, air quotes, wifely duties. Nothing wrong with that. But appreciate on the men's side. We don't owe you that either. You do these things for someone because this is who you are or this is what you want to do. You have clear communication about what you're doing and why. You're investing in the bank and you hope to get a return. But the man doesn't owe you that. That's not something that any of us really want to accept, particularly women. But ladies, particularly black women, if you're an asshole, a mean, snarky, rude, condescending, argumentative, antagonistic asshole, and when that man had no choices and no options, you were the only one there with some vagina, then yeah, he might partake. And when he get his paper up, when he get his weight up, when his life is on an upward trajectory, he's gonna leave your ass. He didn't meet you and break you. You were broken when he met you. Ooh. You were mean, snarky, rude when he met you. That's why you're not with the other man who's doing better in life. Ooh. Who you didn't have to, air quotes, build. I'm going off of their framing, everyone. Huh? Why can't you get one of the dudes that already got it? Ooh. Why do you find yourself always with the men that don't got it? Or is it because the men that already have it are already doing well in life? They're not interested? Let me get this right. We always speak about the men who try to shoot for women who are out of their league, right? We speak about that. We never speak about the women who don't shoot for men that are out of their league, are angry that those men aren't approaching them or don't see them as viable mates for long-term relationship or marriage, are angry with the set of men that they feel like they have to resign themselves to, and then are angry that that situation never tends to work out in their favor. Have you ever looked in the mirror and say, well, what is it about me? Weight, attitude, demeanor, view of men, view of black men in specific? No, it's never that. Never, ever. No. Fine, you don't want to build a man. I don't believe y'all building men anyway. But fine, let's go with your framing. You don't want to build a man. Why haven't you found yourself as a full-grown adult, not 22 years old, not 25, not 28, mid-30s, late 30s, early 40s, mid-40s? You just continue to run into men who are Build-A-Bears? What is it about you that can't end up with a self-sustaining, independent, free-thinking, free-moving, don't need to borrow your car, has his own place and his own money man? Have you ever considered that your demeanor has relegated you to the men that don't really got it together? Because if he did, well, he would do what he does, which is leave your ass. No? Continuing.
Why is it that we can build up a man, stick with that nigga when he ain't got, or we deal with his emotionally unavailable, and then when you finally get it together, y'all go to the next woman. We build y'all up for the next woman.
First of all, Trio, do you think it's valid or what?
Yes, but I also think that some women are the stepping stool for us to get to a better woman. I do. I think. She asked. You said I had him when he was broke down and he was emotionally unavailable and he was a terrible person and he wasn't open to da-da-da-da. You got to ask yourself, why was that type of man having access to you to begin with? You're not as healed as you think you are. Y'all are actually equal. And then he learned what he needed to learn from you and moved on to a woman that actually deserved that healed version of him.
But a lot of times what happens is when a man has you go through those trials with him, all of that pain and anguish with him, when he grows into become a better person, you constantly remind him of who he used to be. And he's not going to know how to come back and love you correctly because he has to face himself through the wounds he left you with. I have a poem where I say, women shouldn't have to be casualties to the growth of men because after all them years getting abused, y'all look for love and comfort in the same arms that you left beaten down and emotionally bruised. Y'all change us so much. That's the response. That by the time that we.
There you go. That's the response that you were looking for. You said it. Single women keeping women single, number one. Number two, women demanding to be in echo chambers where people, men and women, regurgitate to them their own feelings. Recite to them their own feelings. Don't challenge them. Don't question them. Don't point them in the right direction. Just agree with me and my feelings. Tell me and my feelings are justified. And that's how you end up single for not weeks or months, years. We see this on Kendra G's channel on a daily. What was the last relationship you had? Oh, about 7 years ago. What was the last time you were intimate with someone? Oh, about 3 weeks ago. Huh? What the ladies refuse to acknowledge and accept is the men don't owe you dealing with your asshole attitude. We have watched black women ignore this fact about themselves for decades. We're watching white women and some Latina women also ignore this fact about them. The men don't owe you dealing with your asshole attitude. Men don't owe you suffering through you being insufferable. Ladies, everyone appreciates and scolds the men. People scold men all day, every day about what women don't owe men. It's the women that refuse to accept, yes, just because y'all are air quotes together for a season doesn't mean when he get his life together, he's not gonna leave your ass. You're insufferable. He was only with you because you were a comfortable place to be for now. Oops. You've been insufferable. He met you insufferable. Huh? The problem that many of the ladies have is that he got to cut and run before she did. Oftentimes, men and women are meeting each other in their worst state. If the man heals, air quotes, heals first, oh my God, ugh, with this language, he gone. Huh? You're overweight, you're mean, you're snarky, you're an asshole. The men you would rather choose aren't choosing upon you. The man that you have access to don't have his money right? Just got let go from a job, living at home with his parents in his late 30s or some odd. Huh? And he get his life together before you get your life together. Skirt! Did he really break you or were you broken when y'all met? Fine, this young lady's not overweight. But can y'all tell from that what y'all want to do with her with that attitude? Black women, you don't owe anyone not changing your attitude. Dear black women, you don't owe anyone not changing your attitude. But good luck finding the man that finds that attitude endearing. Y'all keep telling us that the white men do. We'll see about that. Oops. That's not what the interracial marriage rates say. You could tell from her attitude which one of you, okay, fine. We're not even going to talk about the men in the struggle. All you brothers who are stable and above. You haven't called your parents for any type of loan in forever. Decades. Not a sibling. Decades. You can afford your own place. Financially at least, you need no one. Which one of y'all taking her on? I'll wait. Based off of the little clip we saw here. Which one of you, I'm not even speaking about the elite men. I'm speaking about everyday salt of the earth, 9 to 5 men who can afford their life without too much fuss. Which one of you is taking her on? Just a little bit you've seen. That's why you're with bum ass dudes. And that's assuming that your framing is correct. That's why you're with bum ass dudes, and you will forever be with bum ass dudes with that attitude. Ace Metaphor tried to kind of give you a little bit of truth at the end. Huh? There's a whole lot of these in the black community, a whole lot of these type of women. And they wonder why it feels like they only end up or attract loser black men, loser men, quite frankly, because quiet is kept. Even when y'all deal with the white dudes don't have anything either. Quiet is kept. Even when y'all deal with the Latino men don't have anything either. Quiet is kept. Even when y'all deal with women, the other women don't have anything either. Huh? Quiet is kept. You have this attitude. Where you think you going? Huh? When you young and you not dealing with black men, you gonna run into a Machine Gun Kelly. The second he get on, skirt. Huh? Yeah. How often do women like this end up with other black women? You damn right. It don't only I never bought into this idea of it's only the overrated or unattractive black women who end up dating other black women. That's not true. The insufferable black women who are very attractive end up with other black women also. It don't last that long because other black women don't got no damn money. Oops. What's going on, Portia? Ooh, goddamn, Z. Ooh. Huh? She thought she was safe. She thought she was safe. Huh? Wait, did somebody say anything about Niecy Nash? Who said something about Niecy Nash? Oh, goddamn, Z. Stop it. Huh? It's a whole lot of attractive or okay looking black women. They're not hideous. They're all right. 4.8s, 5s, 5.5, 6, right? Black women, they're all right. They're wife material in the looks department. Huh? And they still be single as hell or just the smash session for some man. Huh? Or for some woman. Oh. Because they're insufferable. The lady, I'm gonna play it again. She's not hideous. She seems fit enough. That attitude, though, yeah. To the doldrums you go. Go deal with our bum ass cousins that's still on mom's couch at 42 years old. You damn right. Yes, ma'am. You have been relegated by stable and above men to baby boy. That's where you gonna be. That's where you gonna stay with that crap ass attitude. Huh? And if you young enough, you know what? Not even if you're young enough. If our cousins, our 42-year-old cousins said, yeah, nah, nope, she can't get me off my mom's couch. We'll send you to our nephews who's 28. He could use you for target practice. God damn, Z. Huh? You got these asshole women wondering why they so single or wondering, I don't know what Z talking about. It's a whole lot of young men that be trying to talk to me. You mean they trying to use you as target practice? Huh? Women with this type of attitude, and they wonder why they keep on running into dudes living on their mom's couch. Not living with their parents because of the environment and because inflation is kicking everybody in the ass. No. Jobless or crap job, 42, 43, 45, 38 years old. No car. Yeah, you're relegated to that. We can't say it's her weight. We can't say she's hideous. You speak to her for 5 seconds, you know exactly why she's dealing with baby boy. You damn right. Huh? She look in the mirror. She's like, I don't look like Hamburglar Keisha. Yeah, but your attitude is crap though. Huh? Continuing.
Why is it that we can build up a man, stick with that nigga when he ain't got, or we deal with his emotionally unavailable, and then when you finally get it together, y'all go to the next woman. We build y'all up for the next woman.
First of all, Trio, do you think it's valid or what?
Yes, but I also think that some women are the stepping stool for us to get to a better woman. I do. I think she asked.
By the way, he broke her heart a little bit. You saw the look on her face when he shook her head. Yes, he broke her heart a little bit. Oh, he broke her heart a little. You saw her heart kind of. There's a few cracks. A few pieces fell from the bottom of her heart. Huh? Look at her face again when he says that. That hurt her when he said that. She needed the dread lady to come through and patch that heart back up. Oh, that hurt. Look at her face again when he says that. Continuing.
Why is it that we can build up a man, stick with that nigga when he ain't got, or we deal with his emotionally unavailable, and then when you finally get it together, y'all go to the next woman. We build y'all up for the next woman.
First of all, Trio, do you think it's valid or what?
Yes, but I also think that some women are the stepping stool for us to get to a better woman. I do. I think
that hurt. Oh, you saw the look, and she did the side eye. She looked away. That hurt. Like I'm joking, but I'm not joking. Like I'm being funny, but Mr. Z's not being funny. Oh, that hurt. Who wants to hear that, man or woman? Straight or LGBTQ? Who want to hear that? Oh, you here to patch people up. I mean, I just want you. That's what you do. Build-A-Bear Clinic. That's who you are. Oh. Huh? Now, let's be very clear. I don't even agree with her framing. This, we build a man. How come when we build a man, yawn, black women been saying this for forever. Building what? Where's the example of this? All your ex-boyfriends said you was trash. Oops. Huh? Excalibur, you're ahead of me. I'm coming around to it. I literally was about to play it again to say that. We're gonna play it again.
Why is it that we can build up a man, stick with that nigga when he ain't got, or we deal with his emotionally unavailable, and then when you finally get it together, y'all go to the next woman. We build y'all up for the next woman.
First of all, Trio, do you think it's valid or what?
Yes, but I also think that some women are the stepping stool for us to get to a better woman. I do. I think.
Look at Kendra G's face. Ah. And Excalibur says Kendra G knew it hurt her too. No, let me say this. They didn't pan to the audience. It didn't just hurt her. I would argue it didn't just hurt women. If you got a crap attitude as a person, other people will use you as a rest stop. If you're a crap attitude man with some money, you stable enough, women will use you as a rest stop. In the second she earn enough to dip, she gone. Skirt. And if you got a crap attitude as a woman, then you relegate yourself to the men on the bottom. And if he ever isn't, on the second he has the choice, either another woman gonna take care of him who's nicer, or he earns enough to leave, he gone. This is actually one of the positives about our current environment in this air quotes independence. You don't gotta stay with some crap ass person. The women understand that from them to men. What they don't appreciate that about that is from the men to them. Did you air quotes build that man up, or were you just the rest stop until he got his life together because you're a crap ass person? Huh? How many black male celebrities have we heard, no matter what the rumors are, excuse me, they stayed with their wife after they got on, after they became famous, after they became rich? Denzel comes to mind. Samuel L. Jackson comes to mind. There's a lot of black men that start from the bottom. Their wife was earning more than them. Huh? As much as we disagree with this brother, FD Signifier comes to mind. Their wife was earning more than them. They start doing well in life, they take her off her feet. Have you ever considered, because maybe your attitude crap? Huh? There's these little roguish attitudes, just obnoxious and antagonistic and aggressive, and then wonder why you can't either end up with or keep a man worth a damn. Huh? Madam, you are the pit stop for men to change their oil and their tires and then get back on the road. Well, damn, Z. Huh? The men pit stop at you to wipe their windshields, change their tires, get some fresh oil, pour some gas, and then skirt. Out of here. Huh? The fact that you damn there said it to yourself. You're up there. Look, I would argue the brother, he's matching her energy. Maybe you just stepping stone Stacy. You saw the look on his face when he said it. Because look at your attitude when you said what you said. I'm not about matching women's energy all the time, or most times, to be frank, especially when they're being these little antagonistic trolls because they're just mad that they can't find ballerific naive men because that's the goal. Huh? But he matched your energy. And yeah, we saw the look on Kendra G's face. Continuing.
Why is it that we can build up a man, stick with that nigga when he ain't got, or we deal with his emotionally unavailable, and then when you finally get it together, y'all go to the next woman. We build y'all up for the next woman.
First of all, Trio, do you think it's valid or what?
Yes, but I also think that some women are the stepping stool for us to get to a better woman. I do. I think. She asked. You said I had him when he was broke down and he was.
Just once again, Kendra G's face. The young lady's face and then Kendra G's face. You damn right. The fact that black women get to speak like this, in particular in the black community. We build the men, we're around the men, they date out, they light-skinned women and the preference, and we eternally loyal, we're too loyal with. Shut the hell up. No one believes you. Whether it's your diet, whether it's your attitude, it relegates you to the bottom. Oh, I've been celibate for 5 years. Yeah, you don't got a choice. You come back out here, you're going to be relegated to the bottom. So you throwing a temper tantrum. We know. Huh? I love my peace. No, you don't. Huh? I think they think we believe them, everyone. I love my peace. No, you don't. A bunch of petulant children in grown women's bodies. 7-year-olds throwing a temper tantrum. That's what she was up there doing, by the way. You want to play it again, Z? You know one of Mr. Z's favorite sound clips. You damn right. Wait, you know what? Actually, let's do it in order.
Why is it that we can build up a man, stick with that nigga when he ain't got, or we deal with his emotionally unavailable, and then when you finally get it together, y'all go to the next woman. We build y'all up for the next woman.
First of all,
fair. That is not fair. That is not fair.
And that's what she went up there to say. And what did the brother say to her when he was talking? Hey, but for real though.
Hey, yo, hey, niggas get shot every day, B. You be alright, nigga. You tough, right?
Huh? Look at how you were speaking. Look at your gestures, your facial expression. And yes, Charles, I seen the tattoo on the breast. I seen it. We know what this is. We have multiple zillions of her, zillions of her in every hood in America. She's not unique. She's not special. Find me the hood in America, the suburb in America with a few hood transplants, and tell me you're not going to find how many versions of her. She's not unique one bit at all, from look to demeanor. Somebody tell me I'm lying. Where are you not going to find her? Oakland, LA, New York, Brooklyn, Bronx, Chicago, Charlotte, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Where are you not going to find her? Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, Austin. Where are you not going to find her? St. Louis, Detroit. Where are you not going to find another one of her? From demeanor to look, to tattoo on the breast, to worldview, to view of men, black men in specific. You're not unique. You're not saying something unique. Huh? And the women in the audience that identify with you, that's an example that you're not unique. All of y'all that's clapping it up for her, you're telling me that all of you are the pit stops in the rest haven for bum dudes until they get their life together. Huh? Thank you. Memphis. Huh? Louisville, Kentucky, Memphis. Huh? Chattanooga, all the hoods in America you gonna find, or the burbs with the hood transplants, the first and second gens, maybe third gens. Oh boy, that's in the burbs. You find them. She's all over the place. Nashville, Memphis, Chattanooga, all through the DMV. We know. Baltimore, Philly, we know. Huh? Z, could you actually play the video this time? One full go around again? Okay, here we go.
Why is it that we can build up a man, stick with that nigga when he ain't got, or we deal with his emotionally unavailable, and then when you finally get it together, y'all go to the next woman. We build y'all up for the next woman.
First of all, Trio, do you think it's valid or what?
Yes, but I also think that some women are the stepping stool for us to get to a better woman. I do. I think... She asked. You said I had him when he was broke down and he was emotionally unavailable and he was a terrible person and he wasn't open to da-da-da-da. You got to ask yourself, why was that type of man having access to you to begin with? You're not as healed as you think you are. Y'all are actually equal.
He's saying the same thing Z is saying. Why did he have access to you? Because she can't go nowhere else except the arms of some bum ass white dude or Latino or another woman. You notice Mr. Z didn't say the Asians. The bum Asians still ain't messing with her. She's relegated to bum brothers, bum white dudes, bum Latinos, or other women, and mainly the bum ones too. Because the upper echelon same-sex loving women ain't messing with her neither. I just want someone to tell Z he's lying. Any ladies listening, fine, Mr. Z is being offensive and I sound sexist and misogynistic and I have a chip on my shoulder and I probably have some unhealed trauma. Whatever you have to tell yourself, but tell me that I'm wrong. Huh? We are covering a Dark Valentines. There is a overabundance of women, particularly in the Black community. Z, you realize you didn't play the clip all the way through. True. There is an overabundance of Black women in the Black community who think like this, who act like this, who feel like this. And you wonder why Valentine's, what's that? A Valentine's Day, what is that? Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Continuing. And shout out to the replay gang. Thank you, Bun, Hype Bun.
Why is it that we can build up a man, stick with that nigga when he ain't got, or we deal with his emotionally unavailable, and then when you finally get it together, y'all go to the next woman. We build y'all up for the next woman.
First of all, Trio, do you think it's valid or what?
Yes, but I also think that some women are the stepping stool for us to get to a better woman. I do. I think. She asked. You said I had him when he was broke down and he was emotionally unavailable and he was a terrible person and he wasn't open to da-da-da-da. You got to ask yourself, why was that type of man having access to you to begin with? You're not as healed as you think you are. Y'all are actually equal. And then he learned what he needed to learn from you and moved on to a woman that actually deserved that healed version of him.
But a lot of times what happens is when a man has you go through those trials with him, all of that pain and anguish with him, when he grows into become a better person, you constantly remind him of who he used to be. And he's not going to know how to come back and love you correctly because he has to face himself through the wounds he left you with. I have a poem where I say, women shouldn't have to be casualties to the growth of men because after all them years getting abused, y'all look for love and comfort in the same arms that you left beaten down and emotionally bruised. Y'all change us so much.
That's the response.
That by the time that we have changed into this woman who now has trust issues, this woman now has insecurities, this woman now has bitterness, we are left with all these bruises and all of this baggage that we have transformed into through years of going through that with you. You can't even look at us no more. So it's like I've changed and I'm sorry for what I did, but you remind me of that season of my life and I am done here. So instead of being responsible for going through this healing journey with you for what I put you through, I'm gonna move on to this woman that doesn't have to heal from me because she ain't have to experience that version of me.
Okay, one more thing. Or sometimes
here he go.
The reason I was able to grow after you is because I couldn't grow with you. And sometimes some women refuse to believe that you were the cause of my stunted growth. We always assume that this woman was supportive, kind, believed in you, was a healing, was a teaching, and all these different things. But sometimes that's not what was happening in these relationships.
Tunnel Runner has entered the building. Goddamn. Art New Style has entered the building. Goddamn. Ooh, goddamn. Ugh. Ouch. They Live just entered the building. Ouch. Ouch, Z. I think we get the message, Z. I think we get the message. Huh? Irrelevant says she has Becky's red hair with a chest tattoo and is super mid. What man of means wants to marry her? Brother, I'll say this. Stable men ain't messing with her. Huh? Stable men ain't not messing with her. The most we're not even gonna focus on the top 20%, the upper middle class and above men. Stable men. The most she could get from a stable man is pipe. That's her complaint. If she was relegated to stable men, which most women are, she wouldn't be complaining like this. Her complaint is not about elite men. Her complaint is that once men get on their feet, they're gone. She's relegated to the bottom. Now she could, hey, there's so many variables in life. She could go out there and maybe get lucky, huh? Find someone that just wants some companionship. White dude, man, probably not. Black man, huh? If she's super lucky, she find one of these blue collar brothers that just wants some companionship. He's doing okay in life. He got his own place, probably an apartment he could afford by himself. Drives an okay car, is doing pretty okay in life. If she's lucky, that's about as high as she gonna go. We could tell from the attitude. Her problem is that even those men are not taking her seriously. Your homeboy that got a pretty, he drive his Silverado, he drive his F-150. His apartment is pretty cool. Your single uncle. Your uncle who's in his 50s, his late 40s. Huh? He's okay in life. He ain't ball out of control, but he been at his job for 15 years, 17 years. He got some money in savings, got a pension. He's doing all right in life. He might have a condo. Maybe if he got into the market at the right time, he might have his own place, his own house. Maybe. Guys like that are not even checking for her. Not for anything more than some fun for a little while. That is her complaint. Huh? She's super mid, but the mid men are not even checking for her for anything serious. That is her complaint. Huh? Oh man. Women like this have this demeanor and then say what she say. How do you not see it's you? Ladies, you don't owe the men not being you, but then the men don't owe you staying around when they get stable. Maybe someone with an insane sense of loyalty can suffer you, but based off of your own words, your track record says no. Huh? Exactly, Mr. O. Yeah, your uncle who has his own loft, or he owns his townhome. He's doing okay in life. Like middle America, salt of the earth, goes on vacation maybe once a year, if he lucky twice. He got a woman that he kind of cool with. They travel, a travel buddy, they smash, right? His kids are grown, or his kids are in their late teens. Your cousins, they 16, 17. This is your uncle you could call for $60. Huh? This is your uncle when you looking for a mechanic. He may not work on cars, but he could point you in the right direction, or he'll give you somebody's number. These are the salt of the earth, middle America men. White, black, Latino, maybe even some East Asians, not so much South Asians, but East Asians. Middle America men. She can't get one of those to commit to her. That's her complaint. Excalibur says, you describing me for the most part. I'm describing most of us. That's most of us. We all right. We cool. Huh? We got a couple of dollars in savings. We chilling. We can afford an emergency plane ticket. We're okay. Huh? We could go to the mall and buy something reasonable that we see. Our credit score is somewhere in the sevens. Huh? 720, 730, 705. 760 something. We okay. We're doing all right. Maybe we have a lightly used luxury car, maybe a 7, 8, 10, well, maybe more than that because it costs too much. Yeah, maybe you have a car, a 30 some odd $1,000 car, whether it's new or used. Maybe 40 if you're lucky. 20 something probably. Men like that are not, yeah, because they have choices and options. Exactly. And Cheryl says, we all right because we're not heading to the mall every weekend. So you could tell she has a real big issue. She gonna have a real big issue with that attitude. And that reminds me a lot of, well,
Let me tell you, when people say, why you don't go on coffee dates, why you don't date broke men, why you don't, because I paid the fucking lady and I did too much work. Imagine working on yourself and running back to the same crazy nigga. Like, that's just crazy. You make those type of investments, there are men that don't have access to you. And this is why a man who hasn't met his social standard of at least making a living for himself, or a man who cannot plan a date, will not have access to me, because black women are out here getting degrees, as we talked about. We out here growing our edges back. We out here investing in Korean skincare. We out here becoming Pilates princesses, okay? Traveling the world, being nomads, all of these kind of things. And it's like, no, we've made so much investment in ourselves, and there has to be a limit as to who has access to you. So imagine doing all this self-work and you let a rusty, dusty, crusty with a crazy baby mama that, or a crazy ex-girlfriend that's still crazy, have access to you again.
That's not fair. That is not fair! That is not fair!
Madam, we understand the complaint. Your actual complaint is that the men that you feel that are on your level are not checking for you in any real sense. We get it. By the way, this is what Ebony K. Williams was trying to pull. A lot of women who are doing well, black women in specific, who are doing well financially, they talk crap about working class men, everyday men. They act like those men are bums, and beneath them, they're just everyday. We're the same type of men we were speaking about earlier, salt of the earth men. They speak about those men like those men are the bum-ass men that are living on their mother's couch. But really her complaint is that the elite dudes that she's around are not checking for her for anything more than a smash session at best. Madam, don't get mad at us. You know this is really like punching down. You want to talk about punching down? This is punching. Don't get mad at us because the elite dudes you want ain't checking for you. Why are you talking about me? Z, you sound like you personally attacked. I feel attacked. Why are you talking about me, madam? I'm not checking for you. I'm not even in your tax bracket. Go talk to those men over there. The same thing I said with Ebony K. Williams was talking her crap a couple of years ago. Why are you talking about me, madam? I didn't even notice you. I didn't even know who you were until you started talking crap about me. I took that personally. The men, they shouldn't have access to you. Madam, we don't know who you are. Move along, lady. Why are you talking about me? Go talk to T.I. or whoever the hell, Big Boy or Ludacris or Twista or Cameron or The Game or Rick Ross or whichever one of them dudes you think you should end up with. Whichever one of those men you think you should end up with, go talk to them, madam. Y'all should have access to me and the Pilates princess. Matt, who are you again? Hey, this hurts women's feelings so much, Longo. And Longo says, or she overestimated her actual value and forgot that she doesn't dictate what the level is. All this, women in their autonomy talk, oh, it hurts so bad because they run into this wall at a zillion miles an hour. Bow! Your autonomy has a limit. If you're a heterosexual woman, you want to know where the limit is, where the wall is? The wall is men choosing. Ooh. And women are trying so hard. They're trying so hard to pick off the one or two men that don't think, oh, why do y'all move like that? What is the European beauty standard? Why do you like this and why do you like that? They're always looking for that one man that's air quotes different than the others. Huh? Because they keep on running into this wall right here, Longo. As Lion says, hypergamous failures. Huh? Hypergamy doesn't care about women's feelings either. Women keep running into that wall and it shatters them. It shatters them. Once again, rest in peace, Kevin. What did Kevin show us night after night? Women were calling into Kevin Samuel's show, looking for a man to provide them the lifestyle. And what you got to see night after night is women weren't willing to do much of anything outside of what is comfortable to them to attain such man. So let me get this right. You want an elite man, yes, but you don't want to do anything because this is, once again, when we start talking about not doing anything for the express pleasure of men, not conforming to the male gaze, right? So you want an elite man, yes, but you don't want to do anything to make yourself more appealing to the elite man because feminism has informed you that you are self-subjugating yourself or you care too much about the male gaze. Why can't he just like you and want you and find you desirable the way that you are with the crap attitude that you have and maybe the crap diet and the overweight that you exhibit? So these women then, because of either their demeanor, their look, their attitude, they get relegated to men on the bottom, and at most are just smash sessions for everyday, average, soul to the earth, normal men. That's nothing wrong with them necessarily. Those men just use them as smash sessions, but they have no access to elite men, and then they throw a damn fit. Huh? So yeah, Longo, yeah. Overestimated her actual value and forgot that she doesn't dictate. You don't set your value. The men do. So you gonna say your line again? Once again, to every single content creator and commentator, whenever every content creator on social media, regardless of race, regardless of gender, regardless of sexual orientation, if you are talking to straight women, I don't care what race, and you don't tell them that they're going to run into the wall of the men choose, then you are doing them a disservice and you are full of crap. The single heterosexual men choose. It don't matter what the pundits have to say, what the technocrats have to say, what the uber wealthy advertisers and execs have to say, huh? The screenwriters and TV writers, the policymakers, the politicians, huh? The musicians, the artists. None of y'all dictate anything over here. The straight men decide. So the women could not conform to the male gaze as much as they want. Stay your ass single. If you're fine enough, we'll just put you on the carousel. Oops. Crap. Even if you're not fine enough, we'll put you on the carousel. We'll just come to you a little bit more rarely than we pick the fine one. We'll pick the fine one more often than we pick you, but you on the carousel too. Yes, the heavy girls are on the carousel. The unattractive women are on the carousel. The attractive women on the carousel. The slim women are on the carousel. The intelligent women are on the carousel. The educated women are on the carousel. The dumb women are on the carousel. The uneducated women are on the carousel. Y'all are all on the carousel. Depending on how attractive you are, maybe you get chosen more often than the ones that are not. Or at least you're the first choice. But you on the carousel too. The straight men decide. Ladies, you can have your autonomy, but if you're not celibate, huh? If you're not celibate or if you're not same-sex loving, guess what? You gonna run into that wall. What's the wall, Z? Men choose. Straight men choose. For black women in specific, you could try to find a little escape hatch. Shout out to y'all. It ain't working for most of you. Not 51% most, more like 85% most. Black women think they can find an escape hatch outside of what black men think. White men, Latino men, Asian men, other women. You better stay your ass single. There is no escape hatch. Y'all either will conform to the male gaze or be put on the goddamn carousel. Huh? Pilates princess and working and yawn. Play it again, Z.
Let me tell you, when people say why you don't go on coffee dates, why you don't date broke men, why you don't, because I paid the fucking lady and I did too much work. Imagine working on yourself and running back to the same crazy nigga. Like that's just crazy. You make those type of investments, there are men that don't have access to you. And this is why a man who hasn't met his social standard of at least making a living for himself, or a man who cannot plan a date, will not have access to me, because black women are out here getting degrees, as we talked about. We out here growing our edges back. We out here investing in Korean skincare. We out here becoming Pilates princesses, okay? Traveling the world, being nomads, all of these kind of things. And it's like,
everything you said was a bunch of crap except for the nomad part. Oops, and that's not by choice. Yikes. Everything you said is a bunch of crap and feel good except for the nomad part, and that's not by choice. Oh. The nomad part, you're definitely right about that. Correct. Check. Ding. Everything else is just feel good. Sounds nice. Sounds empowering. What the numbers say. Oh, wait a minute, Z, you about to read it again, huh? You already know. Black and Latina women who never married are the least wealthy in the U.S. Childless black women are even less wealthy. Oh, boy. Childless single black women, madam. What are black women doing again? See, what ends up happening is you outliers are doing too much talking. Women like you who are outliers do way too much talking. Your average black woman don't have nothing. I mean, like nothing. Huh? Oh, that sound good. Shout out to all the black women with this settling talk. Y'all don't got nothing. A handful of you are doing okay in life. Y'all are stable also. But your attitude stink. That's why you're in that apartment by yourself, that condo by yourself. Maybe if you really got some money, that house by yourself. Y'all are full of crap, because if you could, you would pull the white man. You can't pull that neither. That's why you're in that house by yourself. Huh? Outliers doing way too much talking. The masses of black women don't got a pot or a window to throw it out of. A pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. Y'all are struggling. Now, that doesn't mean you have to get on a black man's program because you're struggling. But that does mean that a black man don't got to do nothing for you because he sees you struggling. Should have been on a black man's program. And when you look at that, Mr. Z's background, shout out to Louis Conyer for remixing this for me. Red Pill Sleeper Cell, check him out. Shout out on YouTube. Black men outnumber black women $100,000 a year or more. Black men outnumber black men outnumber black women $100,000 a year or more by 200,000. Black men outnumber black women 50,000 to 100,000 by 200,000 black men. Give or take, there's about 500,000, 500,000 black men more than black women from $50,000 a year and up. And yet, when black women speak, they speak about them, black women, having to settle. Yeah. Exactly. And St. Cyr says, keep in mind, population and demographic wise, black women outnumber us. Fundamentally, black women thought they could skip the line. They thought, oh, you know what? We just gonna knock black men off with white women, and we're gonna use feminism to push black men over, and then we'll be second to white men, or second to white women, or third to white men, white women. And black men will be on the bottom somewhere behind Latinos and recent immigrants and et cetera, et cetera. And once again, single childless black women have the least amount of wealth in America. And they end up being kinless. A disproportionate number of black women are kinless as they age. Advocates say they deserve a social safety net too. But yeah, we let this lady talk with the crazy eyes. And she's talking about being Pilates princesses and traveling and being nomads, which is the only part that she was accurate about, is being a goddamn nomad as a black woman. Huh? Yeah. Continuing. And this is, women don't benefit from marriage. Most marriages only benefit men. The only time women benefit from marriage is when the man is wealthy and has resources. And that right there, everyone, I would argue, has been the dominant sentiment for at least the past 2 decades. That would start around with air quotes fourth wave feminism. I'm not sure if we're on third or fourth wave feminism, whatever. This has been the dominant narrative. Right? And it makes sense. The math actually checks out. If you're obsessed with your autonomy, what you are saying is that a man has to buy you out of your autonomy. And you're only giving your autonomy to the wealthiest man. The problem that women, particularly black women, run into is that they don't earn nothing really. Goddamn. They don't have really no money in savings and they struggling. So really, you for the cheapskate. But you got a crap attitude and you're overweight. Well, damn. What you're trying to do is Jedi mind trick the men to pay exorbitantly for your autonomy. And what you're finding more and more is that the men know y'all don't got it like that. So we gonna throw the $40 on the table and you're gonna do something for it, or you're gonna hold on to your pride and ego and not do anything and just struggle. You don't have to get on the program. You don't have to accept this $40. You don't have to accept it. And just struggle. Huh? Black men earn more than black women. Black men have more wealth than black women. Black men have more millionaires and billionaires than black women. Black men have more black men that earn hundreds of thousands of dollars a year more than black women. Black men employ more people than black women. Black men have more businesses and start more businesses than black women. Black women took that fastest growing entrepreneurship and they thought that meant that black women were outpacing. No, you're not. It said fastest growing. Much of that is because of the precarity that black women find themselves in because they're not on a black man's program. So they end up getting fired from their job, getting worked to death and quitting their job, getting laid off from their job, and then they start some little LLC business. Shout out to LLC Twitter. And then black women are the fastest growing entrepreneurs. Not by choice, but because of struggle. Huh? And Mackie says, Z, could you delineate the black income by gender and generations? Because Gen Z black women are dominating in high school, high status programs like MDs, JDs, DDS, pharma, MBAs, etc. Gen Z, I think, is going to be a real interesting generation because with the oldest of you are 29, maybe 30 this year. None of that mean anything, to be honest with you. The men take a bit longer to take off, but when they take off, they leave women in the dust. And maybe Gen Z will be the first generation where that's not the case, but that was the case for millennials. That was the case for Xers, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think that was necessarily the case for boomers, though. Right? Then there's the whole conversation of female burnout. There's a lot. We won't know if the men are going to outpace the women until Gen Z start being 40 and 45 and 50 years old at the oldest. We don't even got to wait for the median Gen Z to be 45. At the oldest, when y'all get to about 45, 50-ish, then we'll know. But the oldest being 30, we still can't say. And speaking about by generations, BGS covered this maybe 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, where and I covered it after he did for the millennials, I want to say. Maybe, no, I did it for both Gen X and millennials. BGS covered how much your average millennial black man was earning and how much your average Gen X black man was earning. And the numbers just didn't number. Like, both generations, the men outpaced the women. Once again, similar to the background I have up, where black men out-earned black women, but it just wasn't enough of a number, right? And so black women are just going to have to deal. Just stay single or go end up with a non-black man or do your same-sex loving thing. The nagging black men to like die, like working to death to afford you whatever luxury item you want is just not a thing. And I would argue it's increasingly not going to be a thing. You know, it's funny, like, we see the economic environment right now, and yet black women seem to be the only group of people that don't want to be honest about that. They're still trying to find a man, black man, to provide them the luxuries. Huh? They're still trying to find the men to provide them the luxuries. And we just don't owe them that. And they're throwing a temper tantrum. Shrugs. Huh? True Excalibur says, you got to consider the debt the Gen Z women will be in. Crazy ass debt. Longo says, oldest Gen Z are turning 29 this year. Huh? The numbers are the numbers are the numbers. And what women keep running into, we all say it. Mr. Z's not the only one. I might emphasize it more than others. This is what your equality and autonomy cost. So if you're saying men are not worth it unless he's paying all your bills and he's the wealthiest of the wealthy, I guess you're gonna be you and that Rose toy or whatever young man you have coming to knock the cobwebs out once a week. And if this is because this, play it again. Women don't benefit from marriage. Most marriages only benefit men. The only time women benefit from marriage is when the man is wealthy and has resources. So if that's your attitude, which is very similar to the same thing here.
The only time having a boyfriend is worth it is when he is able to fully support you and pay all your bills. I said it, and I'll say it again. The only time a man who is your boyfriend, he's not your husband, if you're gonna be a girlfriend to someone, he needs to be paying all your bills. Otherwise, why is he there? What is his purpose? If he's not, he's just a boyfriend. Meaning if he leaves you, and a boyfriend is not a legal title. If he leaves you and promises you marriage, leaves you with nothing, you get nothing. But if he's paying all your bills, you're able to save money, you're able to invest into businesses that you want to do. If he leaves you, you're leaving with something else at the end of it.
I guess we're throwing love out the window. The only time having
And shout out to that brother once again. So that young lady spoke about dating, boyfriend, better yet. The other young lady, two different people, spoke about marriage. So both of them are saying whether you dating this woman or you're in long-term relationship, girlfriend, boyfriend, or whether you're married, go for the money. Nothing wrong with that. Both of them are saying have him buy you out of your autonomy. Have him buy you out of your autonomy. You want to know why these women so damn chronically single, especially in the black community? This is their worldview. This is their view. This is their view of relationship, particularly the black men. These same women then turn around and see you holding hands with a Latina in the mall and start railing on with the Twitter fingers. Typing so hard they turn their fingers into stubs. Nubs, better yet. With the Twitter fingers. Ladies, we don't owe you trying to alpha our way through your delusions. Dear women, dear black women in specific, the men don't owe you trying to alpha their way past your delusions. Yawn. Both of those women said the same thing. A Dark Valentines. It's not just Valentine's Day. This is the new normal, everyone. Some of us are going to get married and stay married. Some of us are going to have long-term relationships, break up, go into another, date around, mess around with another woman, another 2-3 women, then end up in another long-term relationship, break up after 4 years, 5, 7 years. We're just going to be jumping between long-term relationships, then a bunch of situationships, then long-term relationships, then a bunch of situationships, then a long-term relationship before you pass away. And then there's going to be the people on the bottom. And those the ones that ain't no long-term nothing. It's just situationship after situationship after situationship. Smash buddy after smash buddy after smash buddy. Super Smash Bros. If this is the way the women are thinking, including the women on the bottom who can least afford to think like this, if this is the way women feel, including the women on the bottom who can least afford to feel like this, then yeah, it's just going to be situationship after situationship on the bottom. And my apologies to the men who aren't financially together. You got to climb out of that ASAP. As soon as possible, because this is what's there for you. Women with nothing to lose, and they move and act like they have nothing to lose. They won't help you build Huh? As a matter of fact, while you trying to build yourself, they're gonna be trying to tear bricks down. They fundamentally don't appreciate that what you're building is a life, not simply a business. Oh, build businesses with us. Shut the hell up. They don't appreciate that the life is what you're building. The lifestyle is what you're building. The family is what you're building. They're bereft of idea. That's why Mr. Z says these women belong to Milton Friedman, Ayn Rand, Margaret Thatcher, the Chicago Boys, the ad execs, the screenwriters. Huh? Their minds are gone. They can't see that you're building the life is what you're building. Huh? A handful of us are in careers or jobs that we actually like or we have a passion for. Most of us are doing our 9 to 5s so that we can use those resources to build a life, to enjoy our life. Huh? The women don't see that though. Compassion and Callous says these 304s belong to Dr. Calhoun. Yeah, the Mouse Utopia project. The worst. Huh? Continuing.
A quick PSA since Valentine's Day is coming up, but I just want to say I feel like there are a lot of people, both online and in real life, who call themselves feminists, but still very much uphold the patriarchy and gender norms when it comes to their personal relationship. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like some of y'all aren't ready for this conversation. Because when I hear people talking about how they want like princess treatment and they don't like going 50-50 with their boyfriends and how they just like being able to turn their brain off when they're with their boyfriend and la da 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 da, what I'm hearing is that you don't want an equal partner and you don't want to be treated like an equal partner. You want a caregiver and you want to be infantilized. But mine.
Yes. Wait a minute. Are we finally getting to the place now where y'all actually admitting this out loud? Yes, yes, Asian young lady, yes. That was always the goal. Let Z say it for the 1 zillionth time. The goal for your modern heterosexual feminist is to have the institutions break the men to the women's will. They want patriarchy by feminist specifications. Mr. Z then just pulled that out of his ass. I observed the environment. I interacted with women when I was in college. I spoke to them. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos and not TikTok at the time, Instagram videos. I listened to the women talk, unfortunately. And I came to the conclusion, okay, y'all want patriarchy by feminist specifications. And what does patriarchy by feminist specifications, what does it look like?
I miss when men used to protect, provide, and shut up.
Huh? That's what it looks like. What else does it look like?
What if black women were supposed to be the leaders and black men are just supposed to protect with their muscles and use their listening ears and carry out instructions?
Huh? So yes, Asian young lady, that is what the women want. And not just 20%, allowed 10%, allowed 15%. No. I would argue maybe 75%, 80, 100, 75%. Huh? Now that we're at this place, can we have an honest conversation? No, Z. No. Homegirl's still ahead of the curve. They ain't trying to do no honest conversation, Z. Continuing. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat.
A quick PSA since Valentine's Day is coming up, but I just want to say I feel like there are a lot of people, both online and in real life, who call themselves feminists, but still very much uphold the patriarchy and gender norms when it comes to their personal relationship. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like some of y'all aren't ready for this conversation. Because when I hear people talking about how they want like princess treatment and they don't like going 50-50 with their boyfriends and how they just like being able to turn their brain off when they're with their boyfriend and la da 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 da, what I'm hearing is that you don't want an equal partner and you don't want to be treated like an equal partner. You want a caregiver and you want to be infantilized. But mind you, infantilization and paternalism is still a form of oppression. It's just marketed better. And I know people say stuff like, oh, it's not.
Economically unattractive men are leading to a downturn in marriage. Now y'all understand what the women are saying. Huh? Women never intended to go 50-50. They never intended to be equal financial partners. That wasn't what they were fighting for. They wanted to earn more than all men except for the man that they were with romantically. And the math don't math. What women are running into is that the math doesn't math. You want to outcompete all men except for the one man you're romantically linked to. Huh? And the math doesn't math. What do the women say? Socialize the men socialize the boys how we do the girls. Wait, what? Is that your real issue? Or is your issue that the men just aren't earning enough for your liking, even though they earn more than most women? On average, men still earn more than women, including in the black community. Huh? This Asian young lady is actually saying a little bit of something. Continuing.
A quick PSA since Valentine's Day is coming up, but I just want to say I feel like there are a lot of people, both online and in real life, who call themselves feminists, but still very much uphold the patriarchy and gender norms when it comes to their personal relationship. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like some of y'all aren't ready for this conversation. Because when I hear people talking about how they want like princess treatment and they don't like going 50-50 with their boyfriends and how they just like being able to turn their brain off when they're with their boyfriend and la da 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 da, what I'm hearing is that you don't want an equal partner and you don't want to be treated like an equal partner. You want a caregiver and you want to be infantilized. But mind you, infantilization
wants to be dominated. She wants to be dominated. Asian young lady. The women want to be dominated. You know how we know? Because they telling us.
How old are you?
I'm 29.
Are you single?
Yes.
Why are you single right now?
Because the men are not enough rich to take care of me.
So you're looking for a rich man?
Yes. Yes, I want to be spoiled.
Why does he have to be rich?
Because I want to be spoiled. Because I make my own money and I need to be dominated.
I make my own money. I need to be dominated. I want to be spoiled. I make my own money. I need to be dominated. Dark Valentines, everyone. What is so difficult about accepting that this is where we are now? This is when white men walk in the room. This is when the elites walk in the room. The entertainers walk in the room. No? The masters of the universe walk in the room. Say the simple ass line, Z. Average women don't want average men. Below average women are okay with average men. They don't really want average men. We're talking about as a group in aggregate. Then average women don't want average men. The math is completely broken. Yeah? The math is broken. And you damn right in 2026, Mr. Z gonna spam the hell out of that video. We gonna slow up on Munchkin a bit, but this one, oh yeah, we gonna play the hell out of this video because it says everything, and she actually said it.
How old are you?
I'm 29.
Are you single?
Yes.
Why are you single right now?
Because the men are not enough rich to take care of me.
So you're looking for a rich man?
Yes. Yes, I want to be spoiled.
Why does he have to be rich?
Because I want to be spoiled. Because I make my own money and I need to be dominated.
Do y'all appreciate? This was never supposed to happen. See, you'll never get a Kim Foster to admit this. And maybe she's a little different, a smidge, tiny bit. She's not Z. You're right. Anyway, the feminists hate this. I want y'all to know. They know. They know that most women have this as the goal. They want to be dominated financially in the bedroom, physically. They want to be dominated. And the more you attempt to equalize them, the more they ignore and are blind to the men around their same socioeconomic strata or a smidge below until you get to the very tippy top. Once you get to about $350,000 a year, then maybe $350,000 a year woman will marry $250,000 a year man. Yeah, but $80,000 a year woman act like $50,000 a year man is a bum. Yeah. The math is broken. We're gonna let the Asian young lady speak again.
A quick PSA since Valentine's Day is coming up, but I just want to say I feel like there are a lot of people, both online and in real life, who call themselves feminists, but still very much uphold the patriarchy and gender norms when it comes to their personal relationship. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like some of y'all aren't ready for this conversation. Because when I hear people talking about how they want like princess treatment and they don't like going 50-50 with their boyfriends and how they just like being able to turn their brain off when they're with their boyfriend and la da 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 da, what I'm hearing is that you don't want an equal partner and you don't want to be treated like an equal partner. You want a caregiver and you want to be infantilized. But mind you, infantilization and paternalism is still a form of oppression. It's just marketed better. And I know people say stuff like, oh, it's not what you can do for the patriarchy, but what the patriarchy can do for you. But like, girl, everything the patriarchy does for you has strings attached. When people talk like this, they're referring to something called benevolent sexism, and while I understand the sentiment entirely, it's like, girl, if you date someone who is benevolently sexist, chances are they're also non-benevolently sexist too. Now I know this is an extreme example, but this kind of paternalism is the same logic that they use to justify slavery. Like anti-abolitionist slaveholders would be like, oh, but like, I treat my slaves so well, so what's the problem? Do you see what I'm getting at? When you infantilize yourself, you're essentially celebrating a lack of agency. Because the same people who will treat you paternalistically are the same people who will not treat you as an equal. If you want to be treated with respect and as a whole human being and not just as someone to fill the role of capital G girlfriend, then you can't be acting like this. Because if you say shit like, oh, I want to be treated like a trophy, I want to be treated like a prize, girl, you're still saying you want to be treated like an object. Also, another thing on the going 50-50 stuff, because I see a lot of y'all complaining about that, but if you're demanding that your man pays for everything for you, you're essentially commodifying yourself. You're saying that in exchange for access to my companionship, to my emotional and sexual labor, to my beauty, then you must provide me material security. So you're basically negotiating yourself as a commodity in a capitalist transaction. Same thing goes for people who are like, oh, I come at a high price. Girl, a high price is still a price. This is what the Marxist feminists call false consciousness. You believe you're winning because you get material perks, but in reality, you're just reinforcing the very same systems that keep you oppressed. If you're trying to reinforce gender dynamics onto your partner, then you gotta know that it's not gonna be one-sided. If you want big, tall boyfriend, guess what? Big, tall boyfriend wants small, skinny girlfriend. If you're chasing after this gender notion of masculine success, then just know that chances are they're also looking for a woman to fill their role of feminine success, which is submissive, small, weak. I don't know, I just feel like I hear so many people talking about relationships and their partner less as an actual person that they want to be with and more as a role that they want filled. Unfortunately, Bo Burnham was spitting when he said that you want a guy that's sweet, a guy that's tough, a feminist that likes to pay for stuff.
Accurate. Accurate. Madam, have you ever considered that your average woman, she wants to make you feel a certain way negatively about yourself and your life when she pull up in that G-Wagon? What matters to her more is that Louis Vuitton bag. That matters more to her than this autonomy and agency you're talking about. The G-Wagon, the Louis Vuitton bag, the nice home in the suburbs, the kids in private school, the stainless steel kitchen appliances, the marble island, the perfectly manicured, pedicured grass. That matters more to her than this agency you talk about. What's the point of having an agency if I'm either by myself or I can't afford this life? All feminists did with capitalism, neoliberal capitalism on top of that, was just make that so much more expensive for men to afford. That's all y'all did. Y'all just made it so damn more expensive by throwing a bunch of women in the workforce. And then capitalism came through and sold them insane lifestyle, insanely exclusive and expensive lifestyle. Huh? Think of the supposed leak tape from Donald Trump talking about grab them by the vagina. What was he saying? Do you remember what he was talking about? Buying a furniture set for some lady, pressed on her. I ran up on her like she was a yitch. Y'all forgot? What is he saying? I'm paying for the vagina. Huh? Break down what he was saying. I'm paying for the vagina. I paid for or I am paying for the vagina. What did Superhead say Shaq bought her? Her son. Didn't she say Shaq bought her son, or at least the money he gave her, bought her son his bedroom set? Ooh, goddamn. Z, how did you remember that? Mr. Z be remembering a bunch of random stuff. Huh? Yeah. A Dark Valentines, once again, is the title, which you're hearing from the ladies. Not all, most, not all, is you got to come with that check. And you damn right. The women are telling you what they are willing to sacrifice for the check. What are you relegating women to? Okay, fine. Well, you could do it on your own and you could buy it yourself. It's not the same. I maintain telling a group of women at a table, 6 of them, huh? 4 of them are telling you what they bought themselves. 2 of them are telling you what a man bought them. Who really is the one bragging here? Huh? Who has the trump card? The one that tell you, oh yeah, my man bought my phone and he paid my cell phone bill. Oh yeah, this Coach bag or this Louis bag or this, oh yeah, he paid for that too. Oh, these expensive shoes, yeah, he paid for that too. Or is it the woman that said, yeah, I bought that. I bought the shoes and I bought the shirt and the. One of them is bragging about the value she sees in herself and she's willing to spend on herself. The others are bragging about the value the man sees in her and is willing to spend on her. The hours he puts into work. Huh? He makes 35 an hour and he's willing to spend 6, 7, 8 of those hours on her. Huh? It's different. Yes, the women are. We're in the place now where it's just this is the conversation we're gonna have to have. This is the conversation we're gonna have to have. In 2026, let us not be talking like, and Mr. Z's still gonna do it, being a whole hypocrite here. Like the women don't know. No, they've been knowing. We're in a different place in the conversation now. The women never meant equality. They never meant equality. They hate that. The system was supposed to break the men for the women. Continuing.
The reason 50-50 be eating y'all up so bad is because a lot of y'all want patriarchy and not partnerships. And that's people who love it and people who hate it. Because the men who are so adamant to do 50-50, you still want the benefits of traditional patriarchy, like to be seen as a leader, to be revered and respected. My nigga, why would she submit to you and y'all just paid the exact same price? Answer quickly. Right? And to the women that absolutely hate 50-50, you can't convince me that you love who you're with. Y'all are more concerned with assigning gender roles to these men and what the man's supposed to do. The man should do this, the man should do that. I don't think y'all love these men because love speaks more than what you can provide to someone. That's what I'm saying. I don't think y'all love these men, or at least unconditionally. Because for y'all to hate 50-50, the concept of it this much, y'all don't love these people. Y'all don't love these men, bro. It is what it is. But a nigga like me,
Yeah, they don't love the men. Huh? They don't love the men. Yeah, he is supposed to fit a particular gender performance. What did y'all think y'all were? Oh, some of y'all didn't get the memo. Oh, you actually thought the women really meant equal. Oh, you didn't get the memo, so you trying to hold them to it. So you're seeing the women's hypocrisy, and you're like, wait a minute. I thought y'all meant equal, like across the board. Like, no. Huh? The men are demanding 50-50 because the women are the ones saying, hey, pay all the bills, but I get to do whatever I want to do. Z, you didn't have to do the deep voice. Yes, I did. If you get it, you get it. Continuing.
the reason 50-50 be eating y'all up so bad is because a lot of y'all want patriarchy and not partnerships. And that's people who love it and people who hate it. Because the men who are so adamant to do 50-50, you still want the benefits of traditional patriarchy, like to be seen as a leader, to be revered and respected. My nigga, why would she submit to you and y'all just paid the exact same price? Answer quickly. Right? And to the women that absolutely hate 50-50, you can't convince me that you love who you're with. Y'all are more concerned with assigning gender roles to these men and what the man's supposed to do. The man should do this, the man should do that. I don't think y'all love these men because love speaks more than what you can provide to someone. That's what I'm saying. I don't think y'all love these men, or at least unconditionally. Because for y'all to hate 50-50, the concept of it this much, y'all don't love these people. Y'all don't love these men, bro. It is what it is. But a nigga like me, I do 50-50 because I truly see women as my equals. I was raised by women. I respect women, right? So I believe that she's as capable of bringing something to the relationship as me. So, but I'm not doing it to be seen as a leader. I don't subscribe to that patriarchal mindset, right? I'm loving her because of who she is. She needs to love me for who I am, not based on how much I can perform. And I feel like the black community has these conversations so much is because we're still stuck at that like first tier of Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
I had to stop it there. It's not a black people thing, and it's not just a poverty mindset. I get what you're saying. The bottom of the Maslow hierarchy of needs. No. I played the elite women saying the same thing. Not just the celebrities, not first generation rich. Huh? Who the hell is Ivanka married to again? Uh-oh. Huh? Who is Chelsea Clinton married to? Yikes. Huh? Both of them are not black. Both of them came from money. It's not a poverty mindset simply. And it's not a black thing. It's not because Maslow hierarchy of needs, and when you get to self-actualization, then maybe you don't need that, and that's not what you're looking for. You're not looking for someone to provide that financial cushion or be of that particular status. Show me the elite women. 2, 3, 4 generations deep into money who are not marrying men of their same class. Huh? You notice Mr. Z didn't say above because they are the above. Show me the women. What, one of the Rockefellers or Rothschilds dated Jay Electronica for a little bit. What else you got? Huh? Show me the women that are not Teresa Hines and John Kerry. That don't count. Purple Star. Or was it Purple Heart? Purple Heart. Is it Purple Star? Sorry. Purple Heart. No. Everyday salt of the earth men. First of all, where's she gonna come in contact with him from? But secondly, even if she did and she found him utter irresistible, maybe he get to smash. Maybe. I get what you're trying to say, but nope. We gotta play it one more time.
The reason 50-50 be eating y'all up so bad is because a lot of y'all want patriarchy and not partnerships. And that's people who love it and people who hate it. Because the men who are so adamant to do 50-50, you still want the benefits of traditional patriarchy, like to be seen as a leader, to be revered and respected. My nigga, why would she submit to you and y'all just pay the exact same price? Answer quickly. Right? And to the women that absolutely hate 50-50, you can't convince me that you love who you're with. Y'all are more concerned with assigning gender roles to these men and what the man's supposed to do. The man should do this, the man should do that. I don't think y'all love these men because love speaks more than what you can provide to someone. That's what I'm saying. I don't think y'all love these men, or at least unconditionally. Because for y'all to hate 50-50, the concept of it this much, y'all don't love these people. Y'all don't love these men, bro. It is what it is. But a nigga like me, I do 50-50 because I truly see women as my equals. I was raised by women. I respect women, right? So I believe that she's as capable of bringing something to the relationship as me. So, but I'm not doing.
I agree with him. I think much of what men are capable of, women are capable of. Wait for it, but they don't want to do it. I've said this multiple times. I rarely mention what women are not capable of. Are there certain physical tasks, maybe certain things emotionally that women may be less capable of than men? Yes. But for the most part, this has nothing to do with your capacity. The women don't want to do it. It's an affront to their femininity. I almost messed up on that word, you guys. It's an affront to their femininity. They don't want to do it. They don't want to out-earn the man that they're with. They don't even want to earn equal to the man that they're with. It's an insult to her femininity. She doesn't want to contribute to the household financially equal to whatever man she's with. This has nothing to do with whether women are capable or not. This has to do with a society that lied to the men about women being okay. No, the society lied and told the men, hey, we got to check you because you're going to be the one that's insecure and you're going to be the one making sexist jokes and insulting her and her femininity and her womanhood. And you fast forward a few decades and it's the women with the angst and the anger and the ire and the rage. It's the women poking fun at the men. It's the women not having children. Ooh. This has very little to do with, if anything to do with, what women are capable of. And more to do with the way women see themselves and see men, particularly if she can afford her own life financially. Ebony K. Williams just walked in the room. Men are not the ones demanding that if he's earning $250,000 a year, a woman needs to be earning $250 at minimum, at worst, or more. The men are not the ones demanding that. The women are. Huh? The women are. The men are not the ones who think it's an insult for him to meet a everyday woman, maybe not the bum, maybe not the women on the bottom 20%. He might pipe a woman on the bottom 20%, but the men are not the ones demanding that he end up with a woman of his same class. He's probably going to end up with a woman of his same class because that's what's around him, but he's not demanding that. If he's earning 250 and a woman around him is earning 75, but she has a certain look to her, a certain demeanor to her, it's not the end of the world. Say that same thing for the women. This is not about what women are incapable of. This is about the way women see themselves, see men, see their own femininity, and what they think is insulting. I play the videos of the women saying, I'm not doing that. I didn't go to school. I didn't do all of this. Play it again, Z.
Let me tell you, when people say, why you don't go on coffee dates, why you don't date broke men, why you don't, because I paid the fucking lady and I did too much work. Imagine working on yourself and running back to the same crazy nigga. Like, that's just crazy. You
don't get caught up in this hyperbolic crap of she's living in a mansion and it's absolute homeless men trying to talk to her. No. She's talking about everyday salt of the earth, regular, degular, $70,000 a year earning men, $65,000 a year earning men. Of course, the ladies are going to frame it hyperbolic. What I look like being a woman that earns $300,000 a year and dealing with the McDonald's worker that flip fries? Huh? This is not about what women are incapable of. This is about what they refuse to do. Once again, continuing.
Let me tell you, when people say, why you don't go on coffee dates, why you don't date broke men, why you don't, because I paid the fucking lady and I did too much work. Imagine working on yourself and running back to the same crazy nigga. Like, that's just crazy. You make those type of investments, there are men that don't have access to you. And this is why a man who hasn't met his social standard of at least making a living for himself, or a man who cannot plan a date, will not have access to me, because Black women are out here getting degrees, as we talked about. We out here growing our edges back. We out here investing in Korean skincare. We out here becoming Pilates princesses, okay? Traveling the world, being nomads, all of these kind of things. And it's like, no, we've made so much investment in ourselves, and there has to be a limit as to who has access to you. So imagine doing all this self-work and you let a rusty, dusty, crusty with a crazy baby mama that, or a crazy ex-girlfriend that's still crazy, have access to you again. Let me tell you, when people...
She said it. You have to limit who has access to you. You have to limit who has access to you. This has nothing to do with what women are incapable of. She's telling you, if I'm earning this much, if I'm in these circles, I will limit who has access to me romantically. Huh? The men are not the ones talking like this. We're not talking about the bummiest of the bums. The men are not the ones who have contempt for women who don't earn a certain amount or who don't have a certain status. It's the ladies, and I'm playing the women in their own voice. And let me start reading some of these super chats. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And Black Toxic Masculine says, the men they build were the boys they destroyed. Oh man. I get what you're saying. I want to be a little careful with that, because if your mother destroyed you, or your aunt, a grandmother, right, or female caretaker, it's not necessarily up to your air quotes romantic partner to fix, right? I get what you're saying though, but we got to be careful not to sound like the ladies, because the ladies do that whole big broad blanket statement thing with the, like, they'll mess with Pookie, they'll end up in a messed up situation with Pookie, and then expect for decent everyday salt of the earth Black men to air quotes fix them and be like, no, you Black men did this. No, the Black men you choose. So that's why I'm being a bit careful, but I get what you're saying, Black Toxic Masculinist, and you are correct in, if I take a very macro view of it, I get what you're saying. where black women help to create this environment and enculturate black men and young black boys, better yet, into essentially being somewhat broken. And then it's a black woman who has to deal with the repercussions of that if he so chooses to be with a black woman, right? And then that's where you hear these type of women talking about, oh, I built him, and I get what you're saying. But once again, I want to be a bit careful with the framing. And thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And let me see, because I saw another one and it was Lion a little while ago. And Lion says, and thank you for the super chat, seeing as all these women have to complain about is the quote unquote building man, all this proves is that most of them don't qualify for a better man. And that's what I was saying earlier. And I agree. And thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. I agree 150%. As I said earlier, no, this is who you're relegated to. You will forever be Stepping Stone Stacy. When your attitude sucks, ladies, you got chest tattoo, you showing the cleavage, the semi-saggy tetas, huh? Yeah, this is what you're relegated to. And then we could tell from your facial expressions and your mannerisms, ain't nobody's trying to deal with that. No stable man is trying to deal with that. We're not even talking about elite men. You're invisible to them. No stable man trying to deal with that. Yes, you are relegated to being Stepping Stone Stacy. Huh? As Line says, you don't qualify for better. Look at your attitude. If you could have got that guy and kept him, you would have not gotten up to say what you said, especially not with that attitude.
Why is it that we can build up a man, stick with that nigga when he ain't got, or we deal with his emotionally unavailable, and then when you finally get it together, y'all go to the next woman. We build y'all up for the next woman.
First of all, Trio, do you think it's valid or what?
Yes, but I also think that some women are the stepping stool for us to get to a better woman. I do. I think.
Huh? Got to make sure we catch her facial expression and Kendra G's facial expression. But yeah. And once again, Lion, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Madam, look at how you spoke. Look at your attitude. And then later on, you say, like that's the answer I was looking for. When the dread young lady was speaking. Something like that, you said. Well, you want to be in an echo chamber. Let's see how it worked for you. Huh? Let's see how it works for you. For your sake. And Meech says, broke, boring, bitter, bougie, big back, baby bins, black women. And thank you for the super chat. Once again, broke, boring, bitter, bougie, big back, baby bins, driving. I get what you're saying. Black women. Yeah. Right? Yeah, I mean, and even the bougie, bro, these women ain't bougie, bro. They bougetto. You know bougie ghetto? They're bougetto. These women are not bougie. Have y'all been around bougie black women? I've been around bougie black women. Second and third generation big money black women. Huh? A lot of this faux elite performance, it's nauseating. It makes you want to throw up. It's so fake. No? When they want to emphasize something, they put on the fake posh UK accent. It's so annoying. They try to imitate Valley Girl voice. I don't speak white. I speak proper. Shut up. They're not actually bougie, bro. They're bougetto, And they're hoping that you don't see past the facade. And they're hoping that you fell for the ruse and you think she's way more high sedity than she actually is, and then you'll be willing to pay whatever you think that cost. It's fake as hell. Homegirl just came up on money. Yes, you know what it is? It's like if you just met B. Simone when she made that second $1 million. You'd be like, oh man, no, bro, she just came out the hood yesterday. Huh? Well, I can't be with a 9 to 5 man. Oh, that he just won't understand my lifestyle. Lady, you just came out the hood yesterday. Not saying you owe the men that you just were rubbing elbows with and maybe rubbing something more with yesterday. Not saying you owe them consideration now that you're at your financial level. But with that, this whole fake these women are not bougie. They're bougetto. And it's fake as hell. It's performative as hell. It's cringe. Huh? If you're really that bougie, you would not be driving a baby Benz in your late 30s, early 40s. You would have had the big ass S class or at least the E class. Huh? If you're really about that life, I could tell from the car you drive what you're really about. Goddamn, Z. Huh? A lot of this is performative as hell. They're imitating what they think a upper echelon white women act like. With some sprinkle of hood. Yawn. And thank you for the super chat. Meech, thank you for the super chat. They are not bougie, bro. And if they driving a baby Benz and they late 30s, early 40s, mid 40s, then stop it. She don't got it the way she thinks she got it. Huh? I'm trying to see. Is there any? Yeah, I didn't miss that one. And KMS's panel, probably not. I'll probably do a panel tomorrow, because Mr. Z does have things to do. Right? We do have things to do. My apologies, everyone. And thank you for the super chat. I went a little too long on the monologue, that part too, right? Just went a little too long on the my bad, everyone. I kind of lost track of time, even though there's a freaking timer right here in front of my face, right? And thank you, KMS, for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat, right? L's active cis hypergamy redacted. And then he says Discord. Look, we working on it. No, we're not. We're working on it. We're working on it, people. We are working on it. There's a lot, and I actually need to get this done in the next couple of days because this is probably the optimum time to do that. L's active. Check with me Monday. We'll work on it. We'll try to get that done. That's the goal. That's the goal. And thank you for the super chat. All right. Longo says, drive a baby Benz, but still says scrimp. You see what I'm saying? And like, it's something you could turn on and off. You signal to black people that you still, you still in there. There's certain words you say that kind of give the signal. And unlike a lot of other folks, I noticed this, and we're gonna deviate a bit. A lot of black people, not even a lot. That's a lie. It's not even a lot. It's not a lot. Certain black people have contempt. Like they're angry that they feel like they're being forced to signal this way to other black people. And like, I have contempt for their contempt. Right? What's wrong with signaling to your people that you still there? Is it beneath you? Do other people not signal to their people that they're still in by a certain gesture, a certain words, certain phrases? I'm still with you. I'm still I'm still part of the community. I'm not too far gone, right? Why do we have to speak like that? Why do we have to dress like that? Why do we have to act like that? Why not every once in a while just I never had a problem when I hear black people amongst other black people, instead of saying streets, we say screens. Especially when it's a black person who has demonstrated that they can speak properly. I know I kind of went on a tangent with this. I know. It's just something that's been gnawing at me. Right? I have no problem with black people. Yeah, y'all haven't heard Black Uru say screets before? What y'all think Black Uru can't speak properly? Come on, cut it out. BGS? Huh? Especially if we're just having fun and we're just speaking. So the scrimps thing, if we're around the table and we're just having fun, we're just chilling. Just I don't have a problem with a person, a black woman saying scrimp. If we're at fine dining, that's a different conversation. If we're at an upscale restaurant, a Michelin restaurant, a 5-star restaurant, no, do not say scrimps in the damn restaurant. Huh? But if we're in the goddamn Chili's or Fridays and we're joking around, that's a different conversation, right? Now, if this is something that you do and you actually don't perfect. When we start saying flued out, huh? Why did we start saying flued out? Because homegirl from Young Miami said flued out from City Girls. Now you could that wasn't a slip. No, she really didn't know that it's pronounced flown out. For those of you that don't know, it was one of their music videos. For the intro of the music video, they were speaking about twerking and we're gonna fly you out to be part of the music video and you're gonna get flown out. She didn't say flown out. She didn't say fly you out. She said flued out. She didn't say that on purpose. She really thought that's how it's pronounced. So now we all say flued out. Now, if it's that situation, that's a different conversation. That's different if our young people don't know how to say flown out or fly you out. But if young Miami had demonstrated that she knows how to say flown out, and we were talking to her, and she, oh yeah, I flew it out such and such, joking around, that's different. When you can demonstrate that you have certain diction, you can speak, you have a large enough vocabulary, then if we joking around and then we're just joking. If we're playing around and you black sit it all, cool. Like that's where the whole double consciousness thing come in and code switching comes in. But yeah. Right. Exactly. Catch a flight. She said flued out. Now we all say flued out. Yeah, colloquialisms. Yep. Dim instead of them. Yes. Pronouncing salmon with an L. Salmon instead of salmon. I hear you. Huh? This instead of this. Right. Oh man. And excuse my background, it's a Civic SI with the loudest exhaust ever. Mhm. So yeah, I know that was a random tangent, but it's something that kind of, yeah. Thank you, Afro Merchant. Ignorant phrase, colloquialism phrase, mass adoption. That is literally flued out. And a number of other things that are slipping my mind right now. That is literally flued out. Who says flown out anymore? Who says flown out anymore? Does anybody pronounce it the right way anymore? I haven't heard flown out in like 5 years. We all say flued out. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, act instead of ask. Yeah. I even mess up on the ask, right? It's hard to say ask in the middle of a sentence for me. I can definitely pronounce it at the end of a sentence or statement, right? Dre says, Z, can I ask a question? Not ask a question. Oh, there we see. I just pronounced it the right way. Yeah, getting flued out. I don't know who says flown out anymore. I haven't heard the right way to say it in like 5 years. We all say flued out now. Don't be surprised if eventually it makes its way into the dictionary or something. If it's just a phrase that we just use. It's no longer considered bad English. Right? Like it's mainstream to say flued out. That's not even just a black thing or ghetto culture thing. It's mainstream to say flued out. Yeah. Especially when you're talking about, sugar baby culture and some of these more sketch stuff, huh? And flying somebody out or flying to go see someone. Flued out, yeah, that's just common parlance now. All right. And Dre says, I hate the term flued out. It's done now. It's too late. It's too late, Dre. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. Huh? Yeah, I'm just reading through you guys' comments. Batty vernacular. I like that term, Trail. Exactly. Batty vernacular. I definitely do this. I be such and such. Yeah, I engage in that. Now that's that's difficult to let go of. Right? Yeah. Yeah, politicking instead of politics. Yeah. Yeah, but politicking is like decades old though. Yeah, politicking is decades old. But I don't see a problem with people who are properly educated using these terms amongst other black people. Politicking, flued out, right? Like if I heard a professional black person who I've been around and heard speak, if we were kind of, off the clock and kind of shooting the crap and they use these phrases, that's nothing to me. That's Now I might question it if we in the middle of a meeting, right? And you're speaking this way. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Okay. I need you to slow up. The white people's around. They're gonna think you're a DI hire. Huh? Not specifically. Not the watery statement. Oh man. Yeah, I've definitely heard people say specifically instead of specifically. That is scary. Right? Conversate instead of converse. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely that's another one. That's another one. All right. Yeah, conversate instead of converse. Yeah, that specifically is the one. Instead of specifically. What did you do exactly? Pacifically, I did what? uh, oh man, I'm reading through you guys' comments. Just reading through you guys' comments. Yeah, that IB is the one that I struggle with. And Leon says American language does not make sense anyway. Have y'all ever listened to an Irish or Italian or Russian? What word do Mexicans say properly? Yeah. And in South Florida, which is interesting, you have like born and raised Latinos, that born and raised in like America Latinos, and Latinas are really they some of them really struggle with this. They still have a Latin or like a Spanish twang in the way they speak. And I know it's a thing in California too, particularly for like LA Mexicans, like born and raised in America, and yet you can hear like a little like you can tell who you're speaking to. If you never met this person, you're speaking to them on the phone, you're like, yeah, that's definitely a Latina, right? And yeah, because probably in the home English is not the first language, but I've met second-gen American Latinas, and they still have that like that Latin, or I keep on saying Latin, Spanish kind of twang to them. Exactly, Vince. I'd be like, right, not I was like, or it was like, or it is like. I'd be like, L's active, braying instead of brung. Yeah. When I was younger, I used to mix up brought and bought. Brought and bought, yeah. Which is similar to braying and brung, yeah. Brought and bought. That's one. That's one. Definitely. Yeah, could care less. That one is gone already long ago. Could care less instead of could not care less. Yeah, that one is gone. That's not, we're not ever gonna reel that one back. Or I could give a F, or instead of I couldn't give a F, right? Like similar statement. Those two statements, they're gone. We're never gonna reel those back. Just like what was the statement again? What's the word? Oh, I lost it. Oh, it's a word where they changed up the prefix. Dr. Umar said it on the Breakfast Club once. What is the word where they add a prefix to it and it doesn't need a prefix? Damn, I lost the word. It's right there. I can't get it. I can't get that word out. But yeah, somebody go say it in the comments. Yeah. Irregardless. Thank you, KMS. You knew exactly. Thank you, KMS. That's exactly the word. That's the word. Instead of regardless, irregardless. Thank you. Irregardless. I'm like, wait a minute. And it's crazy because growing up, you hear people say irregardless, and you think it's a word. I've never used it, but and then you come to find out, like, no, it's regardless. It's still regardless. Right? Exactly, Kemis. Yeah, it's regardless. It's not irregardless. Yeah. Realtor instead of realtor. Kemis says hashtag triggering. The irregardless triggers you? It doesn't trigger me. I've seen too many, better yet, I've heard too many professional black people use irregardless for it to trigger me. All right. Yeah, it doesn't trigger me. It's one of those that just, I guess, went under the radar for so long. I think it's eventually going to get phased out, though. It's a word I think eventually going to get phased out.
That's gonna, yeah, irregardless, especially with like internet culture and folks checking people about that. I think maybe you get another generation or so out of that. It's gone. That one is that's gonna get phased out. Yeah, the irregardless. Yeah. Thank you for knowing exactly what word I was saying. The irregardless. Yeah. That word right there. It's like, wait, what? You mean regardless? Yeah, eventually, and I think with meme culture and being flamed online and on the internet, I think a lot of phrases, yeah, they're gonna get fixed. Maybe we don't fall all the way into idiocracy, everyone. Z, what are you saying? I know. Huh? Yeah. And yeah, Horowitz says they smash together irrespective and regardless, and always make me, and it always makes me cringe. Yeah, it always makes me cringe. Irregardless, yeah. But irrespective and irrespective and regardless sound better than saying irregardless. It's a more full statement, and it makes it sound like you have range. Right. Yeah. Makes your vocabulary sound more dynamic instead of saying irregardless. Irrespective or regardless, and regardless, yeah, yawn, yeah. So on that note, y'all, yeah, so I wanted to come to y'all a little bit with a Dark Valentines. Yeah, it's serious, everyone. It is serious. It is that serious. The environment is trash. I'm gonna check out Jason Black's Valentine's Day stream. We might be coming to y'all with that, a review of that tomorrow. If not, I have something else I want to cover. For those of you that do have a Valentine's, enjoy your Valentines, right? Talk about mispronouncing words. Valentines, right? Not Valentimes. That's another word that people mispronounce, right? So y'all enjoy your Valentine's Day. For those of you who have Valentines. And no, Valentine's is not just for women with drugs. Huh? It's for the women. No, it's for the couple. It's for both of you. Now, the women wanted to take it over and make it another holiday for them, of course. Huh? With that, it's for the couple. Right? So on that note, everyone, we'll pause right there. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content, for the love of God. And Mr. Z out.
You are now listening to Mr. Z Blackneffect.